time for another edition of Let's Talk Tobago. Welcome, I'm your host, Davia Chambers. Can you guess where we're coming to you from this week? If you said Shaw Park Complex, then you're right. It is our location for today's episode. Now we're going to highlight all the major stories and events taking place across Tobago in this episode. Stay with us as we begin with this week's headlines. Let's go. In our headlines, My Independence Story. Our young people got a chance to share their creativity and thoughts on the nation's 60 years of independence. The cruise season is officially open. We'll tell you how many visitors the island is targeting over the next 6 months. A new initiative is now up and running in Roxborough to inspire young men to reach for excellence. And later, we give you the inside scoop on the project that's about to make a big difference for residents of Mariah's King Peter's Bay Road. We have all these stories and more when Let's Talk Tobago returns. Stay with us. Young participants of this year's My Independence Story showcased their creativity via video presentation. The participants were recently honored at a short prize-giving ceremony at our Smithfield office. Here's more.
The competition targeted youth ages 12 to 18 years. They were asked to creatively express their understanding of Trinidad and Tobago's independence via a short video presentation. Speaking to the recipients, Chief Secretary the Honorable Farley Augustine says focusing on national values dissuades youth from deviant behavior.
It's so important that we get people, young people especially, feeling a sense of pride, pride in self, pride in community, and pride for your country.
Placing third with an inspirational group submission inspired by the Mighty Sparrow, Calypso Classic, The Slave, was the Mason Hall Police Youth Club, represented by 17-year-old Kyra Manswell.
It kind of displayed everything that he was looking at. So while he sang, we also sang for ourselves, and we looked for backgrounds to display what he was saying. And we went to the fort, and we went and we had a lot of fun actually.
The runner-up was St. Joseph Convent San Fernando student Renata Ramlogan, age 17. Accompanied by her mother, Nalani Harry Ramlogan, Renata says she entered the competition after seeing the flyer posted on Facebook.
Trinidad and Tobago is my home, and that's where my heart is, I can go anywhere in the world. But that drove the passion that I put into the video, and I hoped that those that watch the video would be able to get that passion, because though Trinidad has other issues like crime and poverty in some areas and all of that, Trinidad is a beautiful place, Tobago is wonderful, and that is home, and that is heart.
The winner was another 17-year-old Signal Hill Secondary School student, Joselle Dan. She delivered a powerful presentation that she hoped would inspire greater patriotism in the youth of her generation.
I actually spoke to some of my friends and I asked them, what is independence about? And they say, oh, that is the thing, is just go and watch fireworks about. They don't know the backstory about it. And I took this as an opportunity for me to allow other individuals to learn about the history of independence, not just about, it being about fireworks and marching bands and you get to eat snow cone and all of that, So it was basically me wanting to educate young persons within my age group about their history.
Accompanied by her father, Joel Dan, Joshelle was elated to take the top prize. She's urging Tobago's youth to make the best in every effort to support nation building.
Take all your education seriously. A lot of people put a lot of effort into making sure that you are here. You have the opportunity to learn. I have friends in other Caribbean territories that don't get to go to school for free, and we have it here, so we should use that opportunity wisely. You see, We have a lot of initiatives here in Tobago, and I'm also encouraging them to take part in it. It will make a positive change in their life, and therefore it will help to better our island as well.
The My Independence Story video presentation competition was held in commemoration of the Trinidad and Tobago's 60th anniversary of independence. First prize was $3,000, while second and third finishers earned $2,000 and $1,000 respectively. I'm Marlon Gottslieben for Let's Talk Tobago.
It really takes grit, determination, and innovation to be a successful entrepreneur. You also need to have a strong understanding of business. That's why 86 participants are getting support, courtesy a startup program from the Financial Literacy Secretariat of the Division of Finance, Trade, and the Economy. We tell you more in this next story. Have a look. Small and micro enterprises in Tobago got a skills training boost through the recent Startup Program 2022. 86 people participated in the program hosted by the Financial Literacy Secretariat of the Division of Finance, Trade and the Economy. They benefited from developmental workshops and mentorship sessions intended to enhance their business skills.
SMEs play a critical role in the economic growth and development of any society. In fact, they can provide households with an additional or main source of income. They can help create more job opportunities in the labor market. They can stimulate greater social and economic activity in our communities, and they can reduce poverty rates among some of our most vulnerable. However, several studies have found that many SMEs fail to stand the test of time.
Ms. McCain says for 3 months, participants were exposed to a series of training workshops. They focused on areas like strategic business planning, cash flow management, and record keeping.
Each participant was also given the opportunity to gain one-on-one coaching and mentorship from a team of financial and business experts. And after careful review and assessment, we are excited to announce that 86 entrepreneurs have successfully completed this first cohort of the startup program.
Participants have all started businesses across 5 sectors: service, retail and manufacturing, food and beverage, creative arts and agriculture and agro-processing.
And so when BAT was approached to partner with the TAJ on this initiative, I held no reservation in committing our time, talent and treasure. As a bonus, this initiative, which fuels entrepreneurship and empowers entrepreneurs, complements several other activities of the last 3 years that BAT has co-hosted with the Financial Literacy Secretariat.
Chief Secretary Honorable Fali Augustine says small and medium enterprises impact communities in a much more meaningful way than larger establishments. He's got this bit of advice for the budding entrepreneurs.
It requires perhaps that you underpay yourself at the start while reinvesting in your business and your craft. It requires that you spend some very long hours, some late nights behind your business, because you can't get anything new and have it as a success story without you putting the effort behind it. But I want to assure you that the THA is behind you and is supporting you.
The closing ceremony of the Startup Program 2022 was hosted at Shaw Park Complex. The port of Scarborough was transformed into a sea of culture and color to greet disembarking passengers from the cruise ship Silver Moon. In this way, the local entertainers, various cultural performers, artisans, and other tourist industry stakeholders really helped to kick off the cruise season 2022 to 2023. Julia James tells us more.
The arrival of Silver Moon cruise vessel at the port of Scarborough signaled the official start of cruise season in Tobago. It's the first time this ship from Silver Sea Cruises has visited the island.
We're happy that Silver Moon had confidence in Tobago as a destination. Tobago is a special place in the hearts of travelers, I think. And that is the thing that we have to grow and build on. The reality is that I think we offer something that no other destination offers. We offer a mix of activities, culture, experiences that are second to none.
As part of the island's tourism initiative, passengers from the vessel's maiden voyage were greeted with a lively cultural showcase. Also on display was an array of local handicraft.
So during the cruise season, we will have a lot of our traditional heritage characters, mukojambis, more drum, more pan or national instruments, and just a plethora of cultural items. And when they see our characters, they get to get a taste of who we are here in Tobago.
So while we were having our breakfast, we were able to listen to, and I did go back to the cabin and get my camera so that I could actually zoom in on the performance. It was great. So thank you for the warm welcome.
Along with Silver Moon, cruise vessel Rhapsody of the Seas also made its first visit to Tobago. It brought just over 2,000 passengers, many of them from neighboring Caribbean islands.
The experience of Tobago as opposed to mainland Trinidad is what we are actually trying to experience.
Because I saw the neighboring country of Tobago when I was younger, but I never get to come to Tobago, so I chose the experience because I love Trinidad as well, so I just want to get a flavor of Tobago. So I really appreciate it so far. So just going into the country now and see what's going on.
Rhapsody of the Seas is on a South Caribbean cruise leaving Barbados. The vessel is expected to make approximately 10 calls to destination Tobago, creating an opportunity for intra-regional travel.
And if you go to cruise, you always have to go to Miami to go to cruise. So I think having it start in a Caribbean country and end in a Caribbean country is an excellent initiative.
It shares amongst us, the West Indies. We're spending money in each other's islands. And we also get a chance to see the similarities and the differences.
The efforts to restart Tobago's cruise industry is a collaboration among the Division of Tourism, TITAL, the Port Authority, Tobago Division of the TTPS, the Transport Associations, tour operators, Intercontinental Shipping Limited, and Cavallo Cruise Services. From the Division of Tourism, Culture, Antiquities and Transportation, I'm Juliet James reporting for Let's Talk Tobago.
The Roxborough Police Youth Club continues to be proactive in youth development. Hear more about this story right after this break. Stay with us, we'll be right back. Along with us now as we head to Roxborough. The Roxborough Police Youth Club continues its mission of nurturing young citizens so they can make meaningful contributions to society. This time, the focus is on young men and boys of the East. Here's more about the club's latest project in this story from Amadara Mills.
Chief Secretary Honorable Fally Augustine, Administrator Erlan Kent, Principal Patterson Brooks. These are just a few of the male icons on the Roxborough Police Youth Club's list of successful men from the East. The club has highlighted high achievers in culture, business, academics, and agriculture. It's an effective means of encouraging young men and boys to achieve their highest potential. That's one of the objectives of Training Men for Tomorrow, Roxborough Police Youth Club's latest social project. The mentorship program provides young men and boys with a safe space to share their views. They are also encouraged to adopt a positive mindset so that they can become productive and respectable citizens. Founder and leader of the club, Collis Hazel, gives some insight into the program.
As we grow, we allow them to grow with us. So it is about Project Tomorrow is not only about dealing about domestic violence and about treating our women. It is about treating our young men to become equipped with the skills and knowledge and values that we can shape a better tomorrow in this beautiful land space called Tobago East.
Chief Secretary Fally Augustine is an advocate of the club's mentorship program. He hopes it will redefine the meaning of manhood. Mr. Augustine has some words of inspiration for the youth.
Countrymen can take care of themselves. Countrymen can take care of their women. Countrymen can take care of their children. Countrymen can be intelligent. Countrymen can make intelligent life choices. Countrymen can be spiritually superior. Countrymen can be law-abiding. Countrymen can be disciplined. And of course, countrymen can run tongue too.
Scholar and author Dr. David Mohammed was featured speaker at the event. He's reminding the young men of their worth.
You are so great. You have so much magnificent potential. You can do anything that you put your mind to. Absolutely anything. Never doubt yourself. Never second guess on your ability. Know your heritage and your history.
The launch of Training Men for Tomorrow also took place in celebration of International Men's Day. I'm Amadara Mills for Let's Talk Tobago.
The tourism industry customer service training is a 3-year program being hosted in collaboration with the Tobago Hospitality and Tourism Institute, or THTI, an international award-winning customer service leader uplifting service. Now, the aim is to enhance the quality of customer service at all key contact points in Tobago. The Service Leaders Forum was officially opened recently. Listen up. Service delivery is on the front burner of the Division of Tourism, Culture, Antiquities and Transportation. The 3-year customer service training program is all about enhancing the visitor's experience, which is one of the keys to improving the lives of Tobagonians and adding value to the island's tourism product. According to Executive Chairman of the Tobago Tourism Agency Limited, Alicia Edwards, the leaders of organizations and businesses are key to this effort.
Sometimes, in order to give an excellent experience, you have to do more than you are expected to do. You have to do more than you may be authorized to do. And is it that we punish initiative, or do we support it to ensure that there is an excellent experience for whoever the service consumer is?
The Service Leaders Forum focused on specific service situations, ensuring new ideas are generated, new actions are taken, and new value is created.
It's clear that we have a customer service issue to deal with. I can't tell you how many people, when we talk about what we're doing here, they kind of roll their eyes and say, yeah, well, you know, we really need that. And in some ways, it's clear that we do. But again, it's just right there in front of us, waiting to happen. And I know from my knowledge of our content that our model can be a perfect fit to help catapult that.
Further, for Tobago to compete, the island must strive for authenticity over perfection. Secretary of the Tourism Division, Councillor Tashia Burris, says the Service Leaders Forum is the coming together of strategic direction and implementation.
This Service Leaders Forum is representative of the fact that we are well aware of the need on our island to enhance capacity among our people. Further, it is testimony that we are committed to robust and continuous mechanisms that will positively transform our industry through our service providers, tourism workers, and all those who directly and indirectly impact our sector. Here in Tobago, we must adopt an approach that acknowledges that knowledge is insufficient, and it must be paired with tangible application.
But have you ever thought about the natural countenance of Tobagonians and how the average Tobagonian offers high-quality customer service on a normal day?
We have a thing called harvest. Where else in the world you could just walk into a random village, into a random stranger's house, and sit down and demand the largest plate of food, demand what you want to drink, and on top of that, when you finish, you say, I want something to walk with. I want to tote some food. That means that there exists in our natural way of living high quality customer service. But there is somewhere along the line a disconnect between that which we know and experience every day of our lives with that which we share with the visitor. And for some strange reason, there is a switch that we turn on and off, and we somehow tend to turn it off at the wrong time. And so for me, this training exercise that is a continuation is about how to keep that switch on.
The Tourism Industry Customer Service Training Program was hosted in partnership with the Tobago Hospitality and Tourism Institute. In this next story, we are featuring a young Tobago artist by the name of Renice Benjamin. She wears many hats in the world of art. You'll get to learn about her pursuits, including the business she started with just $10. Here's more.
I got started because of my mom. From a very tender age, she noticed my talent and she decided to allow me to join a class. She even came home a day and gifted me with this cute little art set where it had crayons, it had paint. I remember that was one of my most exciting days. So much I still have some of the pieces, I don't use them, but just as in for the memory's sake. My passion for art started based on the fact that we are surrounded by art. The clothes we wear, the shoes, your glasses, art is all around us. So that's basically where my talent started from.
Renice Benjamin is a 28-year-old Tobago-born artist. She started her business, Serene Memories, in October 2020 with just $10. It's a postcard and gift box enterprise that grew out of her love for creating 2D art pieces. Renice makes cards for all occasions and works with clients to create personalized cards or specialty boxes. The responses to her creations have been motivating.
Using from the $10, I sold it for a certain amount, used some of that money to buy more material, and the business just grew. And after that, I realized okay, I have to take this business outside of WhatsApp. So I created a Facebook page and also an Instagram page. And the response I've gotten has been really wonderful.
Miss Benjamin is also assistant curator at the Art Gallery, an art space located in Lowlands and owned by veteran painter Martin Superville. She took up that position after completing her bachelor's degree in art from UWI St. Augustine. Renice says it's a great experience. She's learning the management side of art and even puts together exhibitions like Osmosis, the one held by the Art Gallery for Tobago's Carnival season.
What I love about the Art Gallery is the environment. That's the first thing I love. Imagine going to work and you could sit down on a bench with your laptop and just do what you love. Or even at times I work along with him where I do underpaintings for him as well, which is currently what I love. I paint, I love the business side of art, and I'm currently in a situation where I can explore all.
Renice plans to continue developing her art career by specializing in curating and art dealership. She also hopes to run her own gallery in the future. To access any of Renice's creative services, visit the Facebook page Serene Memories, email serenecards@gmail.com or call 470-2894. I'm Amadara Mills for Let's Talk Tobago.
We've got to take another break, but do not go away. Let's Talk Tobago. We'll be right back. Stay with us. Now, residents of King Peter's Bay Road in Moriah are getting an early Christmas gift, proper road access to their community. They're thrilled that the project is finally coming to fruition, and so far feel that the process has been a really smooth one, as we hear from the Division of Infrastructure, Quarries and the Environment. Have a look.
We are doing our project here at King Peter Bay Road, which consists of a road at 400 meters long. We had a geotechnical team come do the soil tests to determine the stability of the slope. And once we got the depth from them, that which we could excavate at to reach solid bedrock, and then we were able to build back up from there. We have a design where, a cantilever design, where we have weight on one side. Yeah, so we'll be backfilling on one side of the slopes, some aggregate, and that should give us the countermeasure to hold up the whole slip of the road. The residents, majority have been very positive with they see in the viability of it.
The main guy, he interacted with everyone in a positive way. He tried to understand your plight if there were any challenges, and they tried to alleviate whatever problem we had.
I'm glad for it, and everybody up here glad for it. Everybody. I tell you, when I wake, I say yes. So I come from the town with a car now. I could pay a little extra, he dropped me right here.
We had some problems with the water because they had to take off the connection, and it was off for some time, and he himself did it. He came and he put the hose, climbed up on the tank tower and put the hose there so that we could get water. So it was really a good interaction with the workers, and especially the main guy.
If anybody said this road here do good for us, they tell I. If anybody had to say this road here, they tell real. I tell them, I say that. It's we living up here feeling the pain now. Who on the flat here feeling no pain is we.
There's one particular lady, when she comes with her grocery, she has to literally call her grandchildren from home to come down here to pick up when there is a vehicle in the yard. So it is welcoming that we have in the progress, we have the transformation.
It was very difficult. I would rate this in terms of difficulty like 7. The challenges we had were like the slope, the existing houses didn't allow for us to make much changes. Much cutting couldn't have been done, yeah, because of the existing terrain. Then also we had issues where some of the houses were too close to each other, so we could not get a proper width on the road. So we had to work with our 15-foot width. Once we finish this slip here, we should finish this slip within this bridge here within the next 2 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks. So we are looking at our earlier 14th of December to hand over the road and the slip. What we should have outstanding might be 1 or 2 driveways by that date, but we're working on that to try and get everything done by the 14th of December.
So we have come to the end of yet another edition of Let's Talk Tobago, and as always, we thank you so much for watching. Remember, you can email us with your comments or queries about the program. Be sure to visit our website, like our Office of the Chief Secretary Facebook page, follow us on Instagram and Twitter, and you can also subscribe to our YouTube channel. From our house to yours, I'm Davia Chambers, along with the Department of Information, Office of the Chief Secretary, Tobago House of Assembly, wishing you a safe and fantastic week. It is time for another edition of Let's Talk Tobago.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Good morning, viewers. It's 7 a.m. and welcome to the Tobago Updates morning show, coming to you here live from the Port Mall in Scarborough. As we continue to give God thanks for life, I am Julian Skeet.
And I am Maria Richardson George, and this is the day that the Lord has made, and we will rejoice and be glad in it. Good morning to Tobago, good morning Trinidad, those of you in the Caribbean, and those of you viewing us on the live, good morning, good morning. Julian Skeet, it is Thursday. How are we doing today?
Yes. It's Thursday, and it's the start. December 1st, memorable in so many ways.
Yes.
It's the start of the Christmas season, and I think our Christmas tree nicely placed here, gives that indication and that reminder. Yes, folks, we're in the month of December. It's December 2022. Ria, can you believe it that we are already in December?
Already.
Already in December indeed. And today we're also acknowledging, today is, the celebration, what we define over the years, December 1st as World AIDS Day. And, ultimately you seek to recognize the significant strides being made in terms of healthcare, and identifying levels of treatments and so on, almost to suggest that some might not be taking HIV and AIDS as seriously as we should, because, the feeling is, don't worry, you'll be able to live with it. But more importantly, I want to use the opportunity today to, to highlight some of those persons that I have met in my lifetime. Notwithstanding living with HIV and AIDS, very positive energy, positive attitude, and I really want to shout you out this morning. And more importantly, given the circumstances of living with, you are now seeking to make that fundamental difference here in the Tobago space and beyond. And therefore, I want to highlight and recognize those persons this morning making strides, because it's one thing to preach the message, and really seeking to get a difference in our society as someone who has the knowledge, who has the information. But when you are actually someone who has the knowledge, the information, and you are actually living with HIV and AIDS, and you have had that experience, you ultimately are even better positioned to educate and to inform. And I want to say good morning and kudos and shout outs going out to you today on World AIDS Day. And we would have just seen the flyer up on screen.
Yes.
Recognizing the efforts of the Division of Health out there, really seeking to engage and encouraging persons today to wear red December 1st. Please show your support on World AIDS Day for those we have lost, for someone living with HIV and AIDS, for a world where HIV and AIDS stigma is a thing of the past, a thing of the past indeed.
Definitely, and I would have missed the memo this morning. Unfortunately, I would have definitely missed the memo. On my apologies, viewers. Okay, but I can. Maybe the red in my hair can count.
Yes.
The red of my hair can count.
The lips,
for something.
A touch of.
A touch of. All right.
Yes. Most importantly, I know deep within your heart and so on, the support is certainly there.
Yeah, the solidarity is there.
Yes, indeed, on World AIDS Day. Viewers, we head on over to news in 90 seconds.
Thank you, Ria and Julian. I am Candice Jackson, and here is your news in 90 seconds for Thursday, 1st December 2022. Central government denied Study Park Enterprise Limited an export license. According to the Secretary of Infrastructure, Quarries and Urban Development, Trevor James, the license was requested to supply rock to Guyana. The refusal to grant the license was based on the limited availability of material on the local market, according to the Mineral Advisory Committee letter dated September 23, 2022. However, James stated that the letter provided no evidence of a material shortage or the quantities needed for projects across the country. Nevertheless, he explained that many infrastructure projects in Trinidad have stalled for reasons unrelated to spell. Meanwhile, the Joint Select Committee members were not pleased to hear that only one scanner is operational at the port of Port of Spain. The police admitted that they were overwhelmed by a proliferation of illegal firearms in the country, coming in through legal ports of entry. At the JSC meeting on national security, the Customs and Excise Division admitted that most of the scanners at the port were not operational due to a lack of maintenance. Instead, they rely on manual checks to inspect shipments. As a result, they are unable to detect illegal firearms effectively. And the acting commissioner of police gave himself a B+ rating for his management of crime in Trinidad and Tobago. When questioned on Wednesday, he said he is aware of the challenges facing the police and the country and believes he has performed well given various resource constraints and other issues over the past year. Jacobs acknowledged that his performance could be improved, but he noted that the implementation of his strategies and initiatives yielded successful outcomes. Despite the good grade, the murder toll for 2022 stands at 557, the highest on record. And that was your news in 90 seconds. It is back to you, Ria and Julian.
Thank you there, Candace.
Yes, indeed. Ria, you know, very interesting at that, the developments with the scans, and you know, I looked at in terms of the GSC's response, and you know, everybody's so shocked. Everybody's so shocked, and I probably have a different kind of approach to these things. What is actually working in Trinidad and Tobago in the context of areas that require maintenance? So it won't surprise me if the police says a number of the cameras on the roadways are not working. It won't surprise me, you know, the scanners are not necessarily working, because unfortunately, we do not have a culture and a practice of proper routine maintenance.
No, we do not. We use until it breaks down.
Correct. So we are very good at introducing new things here within the space. And let me just put it in context in terms of things not working in Trinidad and Tobago. We're very good and we're excellent at using things and introducing new stuff and putting major investments into new stuff over the years. And then boom. As you say, we use it until it's totally down, and then we recognize, oh shucks, we were supposed to maintain it over the period so it will give us a longer shelf life.
That's right.
So I really am not surprised, and I am hopeful once again that having identified the reality, and I'm certain if we go back, this reality was identified some time before, that efforts would now be made to really try to ensure that there's some levels of routine maintenance. Yes, that's a reality. That has to be part of. I mean, even if we think of our very own household spaces, our cars, etc., routine maintenance is a critical part of the process.
It is a public sector issue. It is a private sector issue. And unfortunately, for a lot of us, it's just the way we think. All right? So something needs to be done, definitely. Agreed.
Yeah, so we look forward to hearing of that. Well, Ria, this morning I also want to take the opportunity, you know, as I say to our viewers, this day is a special day for me for many reasons. And I always have to acknowledge, let me acknowledge the legacy of Cheryl Ann O'Connor. Some of you may have known her, and, you know, indeed trust that she continues to rest in peace and that I am making her proud. Indeed, out there. And I want to say, for many of us that have faced over time, you know, you've had the loss of a loved one, and so I have always been told, and I now even share that message, the best thing you can do is try to live that life that will indeed continue to make them proud. If you're close enough to me, well, if you know, you know. And ultimately, I want to recognize the legacy this morning. She would have been celebrating 60 today, all right? So I definitely want to take that opportunity this morning.
To rest in peace,
so, Ria, we've got an interesting birthday lineup that I know you're excited about.
I am, definitely. I am.
All right, who do we get started with on screen this morning?
We are starting this morning with a gentleman, a young man that I have not seen in years. And interesting enough, he is the brother of Candace. Candace Jackson. This is Candace's brother.
Yes.
This morning, this is Jonathan Chulhan celebrating his birthday. She's so proud of that. This is her little brother, yes?
Happy birthday to
you,
she's
Jonathan. She's in big sister mood
and
this morning.
There's the excitement with Candace in studio for this birthday celebration.
Yeah, she's in big sister mood.
So. On screen, we have birthday greetings going out to Kay Gale of Patience Hill. And this is coming from her entire family, best friend Shannon and the Tobago Updates family. Wishing you a happy birthday, Kay Gale.
And then we've got Camille Scotland Ramsey celebrating her birthday. Camille, lovely in red, and it is Red Day. Happy birthday going out to you this morning from the Tobago Updates family.
Yes, and we have on screen, Ria,
Selector Gizmo celebrating a birthday. Love going out to you this morning, Selector. Have a great one. Love from the Tobago Updates family.
Yes, and we also have on screen Roy Bishop. Roy Bishop, wishing you a happy birthday, man. A man in the mix, in and around, making things happen, man. Roy Bishop, shout out to you this morning.
And this is our girl, this is our sister friend here, Crystal Celestine, celebrating her birthday. Crystal, love going out to you from all of us here at Tobago Updates.
Happy birthday, Crystal Celestine. And we've got on screen with us this morning, Tamara Beard. Tamara Beard, want to wish you a happy birthday, Tamara Beard.
And this is Marissa Butcher Alexis, living out in London, a daughter of Mason Hall, Tobago, celebrating her birthday. Marissa, love going out to you this morning from Uncle Ray, Auntie Liz, and the entire family in Mason Hall, and all of us here in Lower Scarborough. Love going out to you.
And at this point, we start to get into the family lineup here.
Yes.
And I want to send birthday shout-outs. Some of us know him as Richard, Uncle Richard, as Lavian would say. And coming from your wife, some know him as Pastor Richard Frederick. And this morning, we want to send a happy birthday shout-out to Richard Frederick, Pastor Richard Frederick this morning. And this is coming from your wife, Verna Simon Frederick, Venicia, Riesel, and the entire family, sending birthday greetings out to you, and we trust that you have an enjoyable day. And this flows into the lady on the left is also celebrating today, Ria, and that is the sister of Pastor Richard Frederick. And this morning we want to say a happy birthday shout out going out to you as well. Nyosha Frederick Andrews, wishing you a happy birthday. And on screen, Ria, this is
I'm not doing this. Yeah, I'm out.
Pause for a moment here, and I want to send birthday shout outs, special birthday shout outs this morning. It's December 1st, celebrating to my one and only Laverne Simon, wishing you a happy birthday. And this greeting, Lavian, this is the cue. It's coming from Lavian and I, and she made sure and indicate that I need to see me there as well. Sending a birthday shout out to Mommy this morning, expressing all our love to you. And indeed, we can look forward to the day ahead. We can look forward to the day ahead and the celebrations that are set for the birthday. So wishing you a happy birthday coming from Lavian and I, and lots of love as we continue to celebrate today. Look out for later on. It's going to be greater.
Happy birthday going out to you, Laverne. And I'm going to leave it there. Laverne, love going out to you. I'm even surprised that Julian is here this morning, but we leave that for another time.
Who knows? Ria might permit me a day off tomorrow. All right. So, Ria, who do we have on the rundown this morning?
All right, so because it is December 1st and it is World AIDS Day being commemorated, we will be chatting this morning with Dr. Nathaniel Duke, infectious disease specialist and medical chief of staff at the TRHA, and it's World AIDS Day 2022.
Yes, and we'll be continuing the discussion as we speak World AIDS Day 2022 and HIV and AIDS healthcare. In Tobago, we'll be speaking with Dr. Ferguson and Fanta Pierre Sandy out of the Tobago Health Promotional Clinic. So we look forward to the discussions, Dr. Ferguson being director and Fanta Pierre Sandy head nurse. So we look forward to those discussions this morning.
And then we continue on this morning with Samantha Malcolm, event coordinator, Sandy Point Village Hotel, about Sandy Point going blue. So she'll tell us more about that.
All right, and this morning we wrap with Garnet Lawrence, Speak Life Production, the First Play Festival, artistic and managing director of Speak Life Productions. So I'm looking forward to hearing about that in terms of, this is Garnet's area, his forte. So I'm certainly looking forward to hearing and getting additional information this morning.
All right.
It's a beautiful morning. We've got to give God thanks indeed.
That's right.
All right, folks. And as we head on out this morning, we want to remind each and every one of you, yes, you're seeing him on screen there giving us a wave, coming up to chat about World AIDS Day, Dr. Nathaniel Duke. And to those of you joining us via TV, that's M&E TV and Gael, and those of you listening in via the radio, and to each and every one of you connecting with us online, we say, and I want to remind you that this is your opportunity to share the live, share the live, share the live.
We party till we drop down there with a lot of pretty girls down there, down in Tobago. Never ever worry, don't mind if life make you sad. I tell them never ever worry if your house get flooded out real bad. I tell them never ever worry, what I'm saying is true. So just consider, Tatil will always be here for you. Tatil, where people are people. You know what I mean.
This is how it's gonna go. They better look up and look. this is your show. And everybody's gonna know. Say it to them once again. They better look out below. This is your show. And everybody's gonna know. That's how it's gonna go. They better look out below. 'Cause this is your show.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning.
Good morning, viewers. It is 7:18 a.m. this morning, and welcome back to the Tobago Updates morning show this morning. And as we proceed this morning with this interview, it is World AIDS Day 2022, and we have on set here with us this morning Dr. Nathaniel Duke, infectious diseases specialist and medical chief of staff of the TRHA. Morning to you, Dr. Duke. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine. Good morning. Morning, everyone. Morning, all the viewers.
All right, so excellent. As we get started and we speak World AIDS Day, I want you to tell us firstly, what's the significance of World AIDS Day from the perspective here, coming from a medical practitioner, looking at the advances and so that we've been able to make?
Well, unfortunately, HIV has been around with us for the majority of the last decade. And World AIDS Day this year is going to focus on the theme equalize. Now, this is a strategic point set out by the World Health Organization and has been sent down UN AIDS and filtered into all of the countries that participate or are part of this conglomerate for WHO. The theme of equalize feeds into the fact that we need increased availability with respect to services, quality, and sustainability. The world is not an equal place in terms of equitability to access. So WHO this year really wants to focus on equalizing all of those inequities around the world, sharing of technologies as well as looking at laws and policies that will drive the equalization process. And when we say equalization, in every respect, all right? So no one should be disadvantaged around the world once they are affected or infected by HIV.
Would you say that, looking at here in Tobago, as you rightfully mentioned, and by extension around the world, the advent of the COVID-19 pandemic has almost outrun the way some persons felt about HIV and AIDS. Efforts have been made naturally. And let me put it in this context, where it is we were trying to, for years, move persons away from the stigma.
Right.
The fear of I get HIV and AIDS, all right, and that person is dead, and if I touch them, I could get it as well, and so on. And then you had the advent of something even more fearful to us all, the COVID-19 pandemic. Would you say ultimately the happening of one being more recent than the other has helped for somewhat of a change in attitude and approach towards persons living with HIV and AIDS?
I can say even before COVID, one started to get a sense that individuals were not even considering HIV as anything big anymore in the community, because you were seeing the sort of laissez-faire, and there was absolutely a lapse in our prevention strategies, in our education strategies at the national level. When COVID came in, definitely everything more or less just started to center around COVID. So treatment and care actually took a major hit globally. And one started to see the implications of that. And definitely it did have an impact on the mindset and how patients now perceive, and the general community, the perception of HIV itself. But HIV is still around, and it's still highly present in Trinidad and Tobago.
Which is something we ought to still be very conscious of. Now, as an infectious disease specialist, and here's where I want to tap into that expertise beyond just Tobago. I know that you have had the opportunity, not just by way of your exposure with studies and education, but also working in the field out there. Tell us a little bit about it, in terms of when we look at HIV and AIDS, in that worldwide kind of concept, comparatively to, our island and how we are treating with things here.
In the westernized countries, the United States, Canada, Europe, etc., there is a tremendous amount of resources. But even in the westernized countries, you can see the incidence and prevalence are increasing. There are certain parts of the United States where the incidence and prevalence is so high that it could be compared to sub-Saharan Africa or other third world countries. Very, very high incidence. However, the accessibility to antiretroviral therapy in the westernized countries, much greater access. So it's no longer a death sentence. However, in other parts of the world, and this is where the inequity comes in, it is still a major death sentence. In our local scenario, the Ministry of Health is focusing on the 90-90-90 strategy, which basically means that 90% of individuals who are infected should be identified. 90% of those who are identified should be on antiretroviral therapy. And 90% of those who are on antiretroviral therapy should achieve virologic suppression. And that 90-90-90 policy is a major policy for the country, which means that we now have to expand access. We have to expand testing, even at the level of the emergency rooms. Now, you can get an HIV test. In fact, it is going to become where it is a part of your regular blood test you are offered.
Yes.
Anyone who comes into the emergency room, no matter what you come into the emergency room for, it will be part of your regular blood test. However, you do have the ability to opt out. So there's an opt-out policy for everyone.
And that's the area I was now about to touch on, asking you to elaborate a little bit for us as it relates to testing. There was a time where it is very limited in nature. One almost wanted to be very quiet and in the background. I don't even want the physician there because it's my neighbor living down there in the village to know that I'm going to do a test, that kind of thing. What's the general response and feel now? Have we become more accepting as a society, as a world, when it comes to wanting to know our status?
Yes, I would say yes, because we see more and more individuals, when you counsel them about testing, they're like, sure, no problem. It's not, they have no problem in knowing their status once it's offered. So we have numerous testing sites across Tobago now at our health centers. All the hospitals are provided with the ability to do testing and counseling.
Excellent. One of the areas I want to also get your perspective on, Dr. Nathaniel Duke, we look at HIV/AIDS in the broader context. How do you feel, or what do you anticipate? What do you see as the ultimate that we are looking towards in terms of how our world operates and lives with persons who are HIV positive? Because we have situations now, I give you the example. I've known persons who for years have been able to live with, they're involved with me in the workspaces and places, they're involved with promotion and education. Is it a clear-cut case now that treatment allows you to live a full life?
Yes, treatment allows you to live a fulfilling life. In Trinidad and Tobago, there are over 12,000 people living with HIV. And when we say over 12,000, those who are accounted for on treatment. In Tobago alone, we have over 465 patients who are on antiretroviral therapy. And I see them all the time. They are contributing to society.
Correct.
But the whole aim of all of this is getting to zero. And that's the big banner that WHO is trying to get to by 2025 and beyond. Getting to zero, zero infections, zero transmission across the world. And that is why these policy directives are very robust, they are very stringent, and they are high benchmark targets to meet for individual countries. We, in our local setting, we are signatory to a United Nations Charter, which puts the HIV program in country under the leaders of the country. So you will have our National HIV Coordinating Center under the office of the Prime Minister. In Tobago, the HIV program falls under the Division of Health. And we still have some more work to do in Tobago with strengthening our program and strengthening our coordination of HIV care, because it is taking on a new dimension, especially as you get into the area of HIV and aging. That's a whole different area of pursuit and medicine, HIV and aging, because the pharmacokinetics and the pharmacodynamics of pharmacology changes. Yeah.
Very interesting, and before you said it, I didn't even think of in terms of those angles and being able to live. How was it during the period of the pandemic in terms of treating with persons living with HIV and AIDS? Did it automatically mean that they were now at greater risk and so on?
They were at higher risk of defaulting. Those who have not achieved what we call immunological response, their CD4 count did not get to the level that it should be at, were at higher risk of being infected with COVID and a higher risk of having comorbidities and mortality from COVID infection. All right. As well as during the COVID-19, during the height of it, there were a high number of defaulters from the HIV treatment and care services.
Very interesting at that. Tell us about persons living with HIV and AIDS. As we speak World AIDS Day and being able to live normal lives, we've seen families across the world, persons who are positive, and probably you can help with explaining what stage would those persons be at when they're able to actually have a child but not necessarily transmit the disease.
So when I look at HIV and pregnancy, it is really a very fascinating area. One of my professors once said there's love in HIV. So you have concordant and discordant couples. So the discordant couple is one where one partner is positive, and the concordant couple is where both partners are positive. So the aim of treatment is to ensure that the negative partner remains negative. So the counseling circles around that. And you must initiate antiretroviral therapy also for the negative partner to keep them negative. And there's a lot of counseling. You have to be trained in providing this level of counseling. And you also have to be trained in ensuring that you select your antiretrovirals correctly. Once you have achieved virological suppression and immunological rebound, then there is no contraindication, because the likelihood of transmission is less than 0.1% in that scenario. So you can have a viable pregnancy and where the child is HIV negative. All right, so we have made numerous advances. We have even made advances in transplant in the HIV patient.
Yes.
And HIV patients you can now be donors. All right. There were many pilots in the United States, in Miami, where the HIV positive patient who is well controlled, virologically suppressed, can donate an organ to a loved one without transmission.
And that is
Right.
very,
That
very
is where the
serious.
technology has
Yes,
gone to.
and interesting,
Yeah.
interesting developments. And can you say with certainty, you know, as we look to wrap this morning's interview, as a medical practitioner, one, the significance in terms of the broad organization. Some people seem to say we only hear World Health Organization when things get critical. You know, if you were to summarize the significance of the World Health Organization in terms of that coordinated effort, how would you define it?
So the World Health Organization is the main public health agency of the world. Not every country is signatory to the WHO charter. However, for those of us, the World Health Organization has the technical expertise for global public health strategic response. So they are the one that monitors all outbreaks. They are the one that provide in-country technical assistance and in-country guidance. And they are the ones who can coordinate rapidly around the world to be able to have an appropriate response in areas that we term the hot zones.
Yes.
So currently there are outbreaks in the world that we haven't even heard about on this side. But that's because of the WHO initiatives to contain those outbreaks right now in Liberia, Uganda, Haiti. There's outbreak of cholera, but those are going to be contained via the strategic technical work of WHO. A very dynamic organization with multiple strategic locations, multiple coordination centers, actually 6 in multinational, and they do a lot of strategic work, and we are safer because of them.
Yeah. Indeed, and I think if never before, we saw the workings and the efforts and the information of the World Health Organization, particularly over the last 2 years. And I think it brought us to a point in as average citizens where I could now have appreciated the difference between a full medical practitioner, somebody in the mix, and the importance of public health. I think that is something we ultimately might have taken for granted before, but really that appreciation for public health and bringing the information to us. I want to say thank you very much again, Dr. Nathaniel Duke. As we close this interview, World AIDS Day 2022, any message you'd want to share in closing?
To the Tobago public, we still have transmission of HIV on the island. We are still asking individuals to be highly vigilant and know your status. We have all of the testing sites available for one to know their status, and counseling is also available. So right now, we encourage everyone to know their status and to prevent transmission of HIV on the island.
All right. Thank you very much. They're hearing a clear message from Dr. Nathaniel Duke, infectious disease specialist and medical chief of staff at the Tobago Regional Health Authority here as we speak on World AIDS Day 2022. All right, viewers, at this point, we're heading on to connect with Sandy Point. And the Sandy Point Village Hotel presents to you Sandy Point Goes Blue, 3-in-1 family fun day on Saturday, the 3rd of December 2022 at 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. The Blue Economy event is about educating and sustaining the blue economy culture through education. At the event, we have a pop-up shop with local entrepreneurs, storytelling with Auntie Jeanne Atkins on the environment and biodiversity. A zoo will be present, art installation using paint and mixed media, children doing a blue economy art painting challenge, and lots more activities and giveaways. Bring the entire family, bring out the children. All activities and entertainment are free to the public. Let me repeat that. All activities and entertainment are free to the public, and you are invited. For more information to contact Samantha Malcolm at 343-9907. That contact again is 343-9907. Sandy Point Village Hotel Goes Blue, and that will be taking place on Saturday, the 3rd of December 2022. From 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. Yes, and we've got Samantha Malcolm there coming up in our next segment, event coordinator for Sandy Point Village Hotel. So viewers, we want to remind you and thank each and every one of you, those connecting with us on the live this morning, those of you watching us via TV, those listening in online. This is your opportunity to share the live, share the live, share the live.
Was a while before Christmas, and all through the land, people was putting away house with very little money in hand. They was painting and cleaning and doing their chores, but I went to hunt for deals at American stores. Deals on living and dining room sets, on fridges and stoves, beds and cabinets, on washers and dryers, small appliances cheap. Even TVs and stereos, prices just can't be beat. So let's Christmas together at American stores. After all, what they tell me, anything could be yours.
Anything can be yours at American stores.
Welcome to Lamarche Parfait Day Spa and Wellness Center, your premier spa experience located at Bonaccord, Tobago. Visit us today for facials, cellulite treatments, body contours, body treatments, pedicures, manicures, and much more. We have gift cards for all occasions and corporate events. Connect with us on Facebook at Lamarche Parfait Day Spa or call us 273-7772.
MI4 Security Services Company is the most advanced security service in Tobago. Ask about our cash and transit service. It's safe, risk-free, reliable, and timely. We provide safe banking delivery for all business types and sizes with highly trained staff, 24/7 monitoring, coordinated emergency response, and a well-maintained fleet of armored vehicles. Contact us at 660-7723 or visit our website at www.mi4securitytt.com to sign up today.
Excuse me, Mr. Man. Playground rhymes. That's why I'm bringing back the playground rhymes.
I want to welcome Assemblyman Joel Sampson, a guy who a lot of us know fondly by Nazi.
The Assistant Secretaries for Tourism, Culture, Antiquities and Transportation, and Ms. Megan Morrison. And the Assistant Secretary in Health, Wellness and Social Protection, Mr. Sonny Craig.
Beneath the surface, we get to hear candid views from every assemblyman, every area representative, every councillor and presiding officer. Their accomplishments, their challenges, and their goals for 2023. Beneath the Surface, weekdays from 8 a.m. on Good Morning Tobago with Candice Jackson and Chanel Felix, only on Tobago Updates.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning, viewers, and welcome back to the Tobago Updates Morning Show. It's 7:40 a.m. And this morning, just before we head on into this interview, I'd like to remind our viewers the event that's taking place tomorrow. We've got that photo to just pull up on screen there very quickly. It's the Tobago Day annual debate being hosted by the Assembly Legislature. And this debate takes place tomorrow, and it's building our future leaders. And it's hosted by the Assembly Legislature in commemoration of Tobago Day and the reconstitution of the Tobago House of Assembly. This sitting takes place from 1:30 p.m. tomorrow, the 2nd of December, 2022. And we encourage persons to tune in to the live stream. All right, as we speak, the Tobago Day annual debate, yet another development initiative as we continue to push and promote our young persons. And I dare say, having been a part of this initiative for a number of years along with the Assembly Legislature, it is a must-see as we continue to support our young persons indeed. All right, viewers, at this point, we're heading on into our discussions this morning. Sandy Point goes blue, and we have on set with us Samantha Malcolm, event coordinator at Sandy Point Village Hotel. Morning to you.
Good morning, sir.
All right. So as we get started this morning, the Sandy Point Village Hotel presents Sandy Point Goes Blue. Tell us a little bit about this initiative that is set to take place this weekend.
Okay. So Sandy Point Village Hotel actually came about. Sandy Point Goes Blue because IDB, Inter-American Development Bank, had a challenge, an idea challenge for Tobagonians. So Sandy Point did enter and was one of the winners of this challenge. Our main focus on the proposal was actually to bring awareness in different educational series.
Nice.
Hence, we have a 3-in-1. But when we really talk about bio or blue economy, right, it's basically economic growth,
yes,
right, social inclusion, and how we could improve the livelihood and sustain the coastal area and ocean.
Why would you say that this is something that was quite significant, or is a significant point for Sandy Point Village Hotel as an organization?
One, I think it's actually getting on board to helping Tobago going eco-friendly.
So it's part of that greater responsibility for the hotel.
Yes.
All right. So the initiative is defined as Sandy Point Goes Blue 3-in-1 family funding. Tell us about the 3-in-1 component for the family funding.
All right. So the 3-in-1 is based on children's show, which we have Auntie Gian, right? She actually has storytelling for kids on how to actually save the leatherback turtle.
Nice.
Right? And also we have a lot of activities for the day with her. Also, we have Hydra Station, right? They will also be at the event on spot to actually calculate how much plastic bottles we eliminated on that day. So come on down and walk with your reusable water bottles, right? However, we would have biodegradable cups, right? Then we have IDB with an art station for the kids, right? So it's just a whole day of fun and education.
So what was the kind of preparation that went in with, you and the team being able to coordinate something like this that is seeking, while informing, you're going to be ensuring that our children are having fun?
Let me get comfortable here. It was tedious, right? Because here it is that we didn't reach out to anybody for like any kind of fundings. Right. So that basically we had a problem, right? But however, we actually trying to pull it off as best as we could. So my part of it was just trying to get everything together basically at last minute, although that we know that the event was going to happen.
Yes.
But you know how time just actually creeps up. So now it's just a rush and just all over the place just to get everything together. But it's fun getting it together because I know this is just the start of it, and this is just the start of Tobago hearing at least about Sandy Point and what we have to offer to Tobago.
Do you believe by doing an event like this, you are also indirectly perhaps setting that standard and that trend for perhaps other hotels on the island taking up this greater responsibility beyond just conducting business?
I think so. So, to the hotel industry, call me Samantha.
Right. So the event is scheduled for Saturday. That's this Saturday, the 3rd of December, 2022, from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. Give us an idea in terms of what's going to be happening from 11 o'clock in the morning. I'm assuming you're going to have a lunch break. How is the day going to be
Well, basically, my idea behind this was a fair type. So, no, we are not going to have lunch or have a break. There will be food on sale by Sandy Point Hotel.
Right.
Good. And then the storytelling time will be at 1 p.m. We have 2 storytelling segments. So at 1 p.m. and 4 p.m. Right. And then we just have the booths, the pop-up shop. So you can come in, take a walk, purchase whatever you have to purchase, because there'll be a lot of skincare products made from like Sagasam and stuff. So just come on down and have fun.
Tell us, I see you also have the concept of there will be a zoo present.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about that. If you're anything like my daughter at all, she loves all things outdoor. And those animals and so on excites her. But tell us a little bit about the plan with the zoo present. It's going to be like a petting zoo. Tell us.
Okay, the zoo present is actually going to be a petting zoo by Wildlife Association.
Very nice.
Yes, so I'm expecting to see you and your daughter.
Yes,
at least your family there.
Yes. All right. And I just want you again to remind our viewers, I see that we'll also have children doing a blue economy art painting. Who's going to be guiding? You have persons guiding that?
This was sorted out by IDB, so IDB will actually have a booth there, and they were collaborating with Tobago Visual Arts Society. Yes, so they will be behind that.
And just for those persons who may not be familiar, where can they locate Sandy Point Village Hotel in Tobago?
Sandy Point Village Hotel is located at Crom Point.
All right, so it's in the Crown Point area, and that's where the event will also be taking place on Sunday. So just to give us on Saturday.
On Saturday.
Yes, I apparently I'm going back. I'm going ahead. So it's taking place on Saturday, the 3rd of December, 2022, folks, from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. And again, Samantha, just before we wrap this morning, remind our viewers, why is it a must attend on Saturday?
It's a must attend on Saturday because we are helping Tobago get into being eco-friendly.
All right. I see a question coming in here. Someone wants to know about if we're going to get a sneak peek into the entertainment lineup.
Of course. This is going to be live on Tobago Updates, and also Touch Tobago Live will be there.
All right, good. We have any entertainers?
We don't have any entertainers, but somebody could reach out to me, as my contact is 343-9907, and probably we could put something in place because cash has been very tightly because we are not basically funded.
So you call it for that support, yes.
So we are not basically funded other than IDB.
All right, excellent. Well, I see our cameraman stepping up. He might probably be planning to do some entertainment in the lineup, in the mix here. You know, we have multi-talented people here at Tobago Updates, so you never know. You never know what may be possible. Remind viewers again of your contact information, the date, the time, and where this is all taking place.
Okay, so my contact information is 343-9907. And the event will be taking place at Sandy Point Village Hotel, located in Crom Point, Tobago, on Saturday, the 3rd of December.
All right, and that's from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. Yes, folks, and we see that flyer coming up on screen there again. Sandy Point Village Hotel presents to you Sandy Point Goes Blue 3-in-1 Family Fun Day on Saturday, the 3rd of December from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. The Blue Economy event is about educating and sustaining the Blue Economy culture through education, and that's very impressive indeed at the event. You're going to have a pop-up shop with local entrepreneurs, a storytelling with Auntie Jan on the environment and biodiversity. A zoo will be present, art installation using paint and mixed media. Children doing a Blue Economy art painting challenge will also be happening in the mix and the lineup, and lots more activities and giveaways. Bring your kids. All the activities and entertainments are free to the public, and we want to thank you so much, Samantha Malcolm, for joining us here on set this morning. And folks, she is excited about this event happening, and we really want to encourage you to go out and get the information, go out and be informed. Her contact information, Samantha Malcolm, at 343-9907. That's 343-9907. Remember to head on out and enjoy, and we'll also be bringing it to you live here on Tobago Updates. So feel free to connect. That's for those of you outside of Tobago and abroad that may not be able to attend. Certainly you get the opportunity to tune in and also to enjoy the work happening here at the Sandy Point Village Hotel. All right, so viewers, we want to thank you so much for the continued love and support. And coming up next, we're going to have, and he's right here on screen with us, Garnet Lawrence, artistic and of speech. And I suspect, Rhea, he has some extra and added energy after a birthday celebration taking place this week. All right. So certainly we look forward to this with Garnet Lawrence. Those of you joining us via TV, those listening in via radio, and those online, we want to thank you so much for your continued love and support for the Tobago Updates Morning Show. And to remind you that this is your opportunity to share the live, share the live, share the live.
The Division of Health, Wellness and Social Protection is moving to better serve you. Turn left onto Glen Road. Another left onto Montessori Drive. Welcome to the new location of the Division of Health, Wellness and Social Protection.
Everybody only worrying. Never ever worry, don't mind how things looking hard. I tell them never ever worry, if your nice car get damaged bad. I tell them never ever worry, what I'm saying is true. So just consider, Tatil is always right here for you. I tell them never ever worry, don't mind if life make you sad. I tell them never ever worry, if your house get flooded out real bad. I tell them never ever worry, what I'm saying is true. So just consider, Tatil is always right here for you. I tell them never ever worry, if sickness catch you off guard. I tell them never ever worry, if times fall on you real hard. I tell them never ever worry, what I'm saying is true. So just consider, Tatil will always be here for you.
Never worry about a thing. Tatil, where people are people. You know what I mean.
Coconut's Cafe, the buffet restaurant that specializes in all your tasty local dishes. For breakfast and for lunch. Breakfast includes coconut bake and sada roti, served with chokers, bull joil and sausages in tomato sauce. Not forgetting beef and cheese pies, shepherd's pie, macaroni pie and rice in various styles. Meat served in a variety of flavors, garden salads and pasta salads. All this accompanied by fruit juices, coconut water, your choice of a great combination to appease your taste buds. So call us today to order, as we are here to accommodate your busy schedules or if you are having a cooking day off.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning.
Viewers, welcome back this morning to the Tobago Updates morning show. We've got lots of interesting things happening here on the program, but very quickly here, we missed a birthday that we want to get in really quickly, and that's coming up on screen. We've got Kristen, I'm waiting for that pic to come on up. That's right, and that is Kristen Charles, who celebrates his birthday today, and he's known by family and friends as the son of Toy Charles of Charles Watch Repair, located Upper Scarborough, Tobago. Son, love going out to you this morning, not only from the Tobago Updates family here, but from my family to you, from my dad and all of my siblings. Love going out to you this morning. All right, as well, we want to remind folks this morning that Tobago Day annual debate takes place tomorrow, and you can tune into the live stream, okay, and that the theme this year is Building Our Future Leaders, hosted by the Assembly Legislature in commemoration of Tobago Day and the reconstitution of the Tobago House of Assembly. It will be streaming live on several platforms this morning: TV, Facebook, and YouTube. All right, so that's taking place tomorrow. So we invite you to tune in from 1:30 p.m. on the 2nd of December, which is tomorrow. We also want to send a shout out this morning to some of our major sponsors. Sasha Cosmetics, good morning to you. House of Norma, good morning. Hair Sanctuary and Phyllis Grant. Phyllis Grant this morning caters to all types of natural hairstyles, and you can contact Phyllis at 479-4285. We say good morning as well to Just My Size, Joy's Fashion, and Mateo's. Good morning to you guys. All right, so we're going to be switching gears at this time as we chat this morning with Mr. Garnett Lawrence, who is the Artistic and Managing Director of Speak Life Productions. Yeah. In fact, before we chat with Garnett, we're going to get straight into a sample, a little taste of what he has to offer.
Anton, remember
says, Simon says you cannot play. Daddy says, stop that crying. Daddy says, get over here. Daddy is coming, someone's going to get licked. Feel how hot it's going to be.
All right. And that's just a little taste. Now, Garnet, it's always a pleasure to have you on the program with us.
Always good to be here.
Yes. I want to get right into things. I really want to get right into things. When we talk about Speak Live Productions, remind our viewers this morning of where Speak Live Productions came from.
It came from Shaper Productions. It came from the annual Christmas program. It came from Tobago in general, because I would have lived all of my life here and built theater in Tobago. And this was my dream since I was 18, to have a company that does socially responsible, family-friendly theatrical productions. So it birthed right here, and the purpose is to serve Tobago and the world by extension.
What makes Speak Live Productions and what you have to offer different from what we've been seeing? Because I think within the most recent years, we have seen an emergence of theatre productions coming out of Tobago. But what makes Speak Live Productions different?
Well, for me, a lot of times when we look at theatre, it tends to be tied very closely to culture,
right,
in terms of a cultural presentation. What we aim at doing is creating a space where people who may not be into the culture as much, cultural shows, just want to watch a good theatrical production, can come and play and come and watch and enjoy themselves, come and take part, whether come and train, become playwrights, or even themselves just come as an audience and look at it. So people like myself, I'm not going to really go to a heritage festival per se, but I want to watch a play, and there isn't much avenues or much places that do that type of work. So the idea is we are creating a space for people who want to watch plays, who want to watch spoken word, who want to be involved in even film at some point in time, where they can come and they can enjoy the art form for what it is. Socially relevant, family friendly, open to all audiences.
So it's an option, another option.
Yes, it's another option, another space. And the whole idea behind the festival is we're creating a space where theatre all by itself is going to have its prominence. No attachments, no music, no spoken word, just theatre alone. Pure, beautiful theatre. And for this play festival, we're going to be featuring 3 different types of theatrical productions. We're going to have a reader theatre piece, where the actors are going to be literally reading out a script and in a dramatic form, of course. Then we're going to have a narration-style dramatic presentation, and then we're going to have the usual dramatic show. So we're going to have 3 plays, 3 different feels, 3 different styles of theatre. We're going to be presenting on Saturday and Sunday.
Now, you refer to this one as the first play festival.
Yes, ma'am.
Tell us what's the mind behind the first play festival.
So here's the idea. Coming from Trinidad, coming from UWI, where they have something called the Festival of Scenes or Festival of Plays, and coming from a secondary school drama festival background, the idea is that these festivals give budding playwrights, budding directors, amateur actors, amateur technical theatre people an opportunity to practice their craft. So this being the first, the idea is next year I'm going to look at doing some training for aspiring playwrights, and then working with other production companies or performing arts companies, so we can have not just one set of actors from my own training program, but various people from different groups as well, performing locally grown, locally based plays. And the end game, of course, is that we may move from having a 2-day show to having a 2-week show, where it is every night Tobago, and by extension the national community and even international community can come and enjoy several nights of theatre, pure, beautiful, Tobago-based, family-friendly theatre. That is the vision.
All right. Now, you would have not even started, but I know many years ago you were a part of the, in fact, a major part of the Christmas night productions that would be held at the Cinnamon Hill Wesleyan Holiness Church.
Yes, ma'am.
Year after year, you would have put on these productions.
Mm-hmm.
Now, 3 plays, 2 nights.
Yes, ma'am.
Of a production.
Mm-hmm.
I want you, I mean, because there is now a cost attached to it. So what persons have enjoyed for free for many years, they've now got to put some money, throw some money behind.
Yes.
All right. So tell us why, one, and give us the cost.
Okay. So the purpose is that if we're going to be carrying the art form forward, we have to invest in it.
That's right.
And it can't simply be we're doing this for free all the time. There's a personal cost.
Yes, we know.
That. I mean, I had to spend money on food alone, and I spent like $20 on food because the cast was hungry. We went till 11:30 last night. So if people are coming and giving up their time and the energies, you're seeing set, you're seeing light, you're seeing rehearsals, then there must have been feeds back into the people who are taking part. Now, people would say, in all honesty, $75 per night is actually ridiculously cheap for the 2 plays.
For fit, exactly.
But I'm starting small. This is a seed. The idea is that we are planting it in the ground. We don't expect big things from seeds. We don't look at seeds to be magnificent trees. This is the start. And we want Tobago to invest in theater, invest in the future thespians of this island, and maybe even future playwrights, and invest in the space. So looking at $75 per adult, $50 for children. The plays are heavy. The plays are heavy, you know. Well, I know I don't write like things.
No, we don't.
The plays are heavy, so
we
I
know
wouldn't
that.
encourage people under the age of 12 to attend. But the plays are going to be relevant. They are related to topics like abortion, cyberbullying, parental neglect, alcoholism. Even though it's not overt, but it's suggested in very nice, subtle ways that are relevant to what's happening in the island. We felt as though the pandemic happened, there was panic, there was trauma, financial traumas, psychological trauma, and then boom, COVID passed, and we want to go back to normal, and we haven't spoken about the things that have happened to us. And so what we are doing is giving a voice to some of the issues that may have arisen post-pandemic or during the pandemic that we have not dealt with, that we don't want to deal with, but we need to if we're going to grow as a people, as an island.
All right. And it's happening. Give us the dates that is happening.
So it's going to be happening on Saturday, the 3rd of December, and Sunday, the 4th of December. We're going to have 2 sets of shows. The first night is a youth theater night, performed strictly by young people. The other night going to be an adult theater night. We're going to have 3 plays. 1 play we're doing twice. The 3 plays are Like, Love, Hate Me, which is about cyberbullying and donuts and bananas and sweeties. If you're into texting, you know what them symbols mean. And then we're going to have Henry and Jolie, which is an adaptation of the fairy tale Hansel and Gretel. So it's set right now, dealing with children right now. What would that story look like right now? And then we have Forgotten, which is a creative adaptation of a folklore story, the Dwen. I'm doing it a different kind of way, so be prepared to be uncomfortable. I'm not playing. We're not coming to make you smile and ha ha ha, clap, clap, clap. We want you to feel.
Cake here.
No. Come and sit down and feel. And one of the big things that I am as a director is this whole idea of chasing catharsis, where it is as a people we need to sit down and hear some things that make us reflect, that make us have a measure of looking at ourselves, our understanding of how the world works, looking at even the people around us, so that we can find solutions, because other times we create our own problems. We make things more difficult than they need to be, or we simply don't even know what issues we are facing to know what is causing the problems that we are facing. So what we want to do is we want to peel back the skin a little bit. Let people look at themselves for a little bit, bask in their own beauty and even their own ugliness, and see how can I fix this. Yeah?
Make it right.
Make it right.
All right. Where can they purchase the tickets?
Well, they can contact me at 788-3508 for ticket details. You can WhatsApp, you can call. We have group rates, because I know, for example, in Tobago, everybody who's doing theater, there isn't theater happening in Tobago per se. And so if you are doing exams, you have to go and do a play critique. you have to sometimes fly to Trinidad to go and get to watch a play. So
That's right.
schools in particular, you can contact me at this number. Most of them know my number anyway. To get tickets, I have group rates available for 10 and over and for 5 and over. So just message me at 788-3508 and we will discuss how that's going to work out.
All right, Bogana, thank you so much again for being on the program. So it's happening on Saturday and Sunday, and the time?
8 p.m. on both nights. Tickets will be available at the door.
And what is the location?
At Signal Hill Secondary School Auditorium, the Cecil Dalrymple Auditorium.
Yes, that's right, the Cecil Dalrymple Auditorium.
Big up Company one time.
That's right. Whoop, whoop. Julian ain't here right now, okay. All right.
Bishop, big up Bishop, by the way.
It has passed. The time has passed. The time has passed. We'll take the company.
I bleed maroon. One time.
Viewers, thank you so much for joining us. Just before we go very quickly here, we just want to remind you of what's happening here with Sandy Point Village. The hotel presents to you Sandy Point Goes Blue 3-in-1 Family Fun Day on Saturday, the 3rd December 2022. From 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. The Blue Economy event is about educating and sustaining the Blue Economy culture through education. At the event, we have a pop-up shop with local entrepreneurs, storytelling with Auntie, on the environment and biodiversity. A zoo would be present, art installation using paint and mixed media, children doing a Blue Economy art painting challenge, lots more activities and giveaways. Bring your children. All activities and entertainment are free to the public. For more info, you can contact Samantha Malcolm. She was just on with Julian at 1-868-343-9907. All right, and that's happening over the weekend. So, viewers, we're going to leave it there. We want to thank you so much for joining us today. Have a really great day. This shout-out is going out to Tanessa, to Soraya, and to Judah. Love going out to you guys this morning. And we want to say, even as we head on over to Tobago Notes, GMT is coming up just after with Candace's first guest, Assemblyman Trevor James. He is the Assemblyman for Scarborough, Mount Grace. He's going to be chatting with Candace during the first interview at Tobago. The only guest actually on Tobago, on GMT, Good Morning Tobago. So that's coming up just after we say goodbye to you guys. So have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Chief Secretary Honorable Fali Augustine, Administrator Erlan Kent, Principal Patterson Brooks. These are just a few of the male icons on the Roxborough Police Youth Club's list of successful men from the East. The club has highlighted high achievers in culture, business, academics, and agriculture. It's an effective means of encouraging young men and boys to achieve their highest potential. That's one of the objectives of Training Men for Tomorrow, Roxborough Police Youth Club's latest social project. The mentorship program provides young men and boys with a safe space to share their views. They are also encouraged to adopt a positive mindset so that they can become productive and respectable citizens. Founder and leader of the club, Collis Hazel, gives some insight into the program.
As we grow, we allow them to grow with us. So it is about Project Tomorrow is not only about dealing about domestic violence and about treating our women. It is about treating our young men to become equipped with the skills and knowledge and values that we can shape a better tomorrow in this beautiful land space called Tobago East.
Chief Secretary Fali Augustine is an advocate of the club's mentorship program. He hopes it will redefine the meaning of manhood. Mr. Augustine has some words of inspiration for the youth.
Countrymen can take care of themselves.
Countrymen can take care of their women. Countrymen can take care of their children. Countrymen can be intelligent. Countrymen can make intelligent life choices. Countrymen can be spiritually superior. Countrymen can be law-abiding. Countrymen can be disciplined. And of course, countrymen can run tongue too.
Scholar and author Dr. David Mohammed was featured speaker at the event. He's reminding the young men of their worth.
You are so great. You have so much magnificent potential. You can do anything that you put your mind to. Absolutely anything. Never doubt yourself. Never second guess on your ability. Know your heritage and your history.
The launch of Training Men for Tomorrow also took place in celebration of International Men's Day.
That was a production of the Department of Information, Office of the Chief Secretary, Tobago House of Assembly.
Yeah. Hey.
Tobago updates. Good morning, Tobago. Wake up with Candace and Denicia.
Welcome to Good Morning Tobago on Tobago Updates, your source for current affairs in Tobago, Trinidad, and the region. With the perfect conversations to complement your morning routine, I am Candace Jackson, and let's get started with the news in 90 seconds. Central government denied Study Park Enterprise Limited an export license. According to the Secretary of Infrastructure, Quarries and Urban Development, Trevor James, the license was requested to supply rock to Guyana. The refusal to grant the license was based on the limited availability of material on the local market, according to Mineral Advisory Committee letter dated September 23, 2022. However, James stated that the letter provided no evidence of a material shortage or the quantities needed for projects across the country. Nevertheless, he explained that many infrastructure projects in Trinidad have stalled for reasons unrelated to spell. Meanwhile, Joint Select Committee members were not pleased to hear that only one scanner was operational at the port of Port of Spain. The police admitted that they were overwhelmed by a proliferation of illegal firearms in the country coming in through the legal ports of entry. At the JSC meeting on national security, the Customs and Excise Division admitted that most of the scanners at the port were not operational due to a lack of maintenance. Instead, they rely on manual checks to inspect shipments. As a result, they are unable to detect illegal firearms efficiently. And the acting Commissioner of Police gave himself a B+ rating for his management of crime in Trinidad and Tobago. When questioned on Wednesday, he said he is aware of the challenges facing the police and the country and believes he has performed well, given the various resource constraints and other issues over the past year. Jacobs acknowledged that his performance could be improved, but he noted that with the implementation of his strategies and initiatives yielded successful outcomes. Despite the good grade, the murder toll for 2022 stands at 557, the highest on record. And that was the news in 90 seconds. And viewers, in today's edition of Beneath the Surface with the assemblymen and the councillors, we have none other than a man that has a lot of questions to answer. And that's none other than Mr. Trevor James. And he is the assemblyman, first of all, for Scarborough Mount Grace, as well as the Secretary for Infrastructure, Quarries and Urban Development. Good morning and welcome to you, sir. How are you doing?
Thank you, Candice. Pleasant good morning to Tobago. Pleasant good morning to Trinidad and all the viewers of Tobago Update, wherever they are.
Great. So, let's get started. Starting each and every one of you all is to give us a brief idea as to who you were before you stepped into this role as an assemblyman, as a politician.
Trevor James has been in the construction industry all my life. I am a project manager. I've worked in projects in Trinidad, in Barbados, up the region. I've been humble, and I have been asked to contribute to Tobago, and I've gladly accepted, and I'm here now.
And what made you step into this role? What motivated you to become a politician and to represent people?
Well, we in Tobago have been asking and clamoring for better representation. You know, there was a dearth of representation. One party was in the House when I decided to assist the PDP back in 2017. That mushroomed into me becoming a candidate, and I, you know, I don't see myself as a politician, but I think I'm a good politician in that I represent the people who I represent well. I dedicate myself to the task of being the Secretary of Infrastructure, and I believe that I have the skills and the experience necessary to move the division forward, and I'll set out to do that.
Before stepping into this role, when you were just a candidate, when you were just working the ground, what was your idea of what a representative meant?
I look at the big picture. We focus on little details in Tobago, but I look at the big picture. What can I do? What can I bring to the table that would change lives, change families, improve the economy, improve Tobago generally? And if I can do that, then I will represent my people. My people will get work. They will get their issues resolved. So I look at the big picture. So when you hear me speak, of course, I will fix drains and roads and attend to the person's personal needs in the district. But I think if we succeed at the big picture, if we succeed at autonomy, if we succeed at building Scarborough, then the employment statistics goes down. The population growth rate increases. Demand increases, and therefore there's a great opportunity for everybody to make a little money in this thing, that place that we call Tobago. So I look at that big picture, you know, but I'm efficient, I believe.
But what did you expect? Before stepping into the role, what do you expect? What did you think it would have been like?
You mean being a politician or representative? Well, I know it's hard work. You know, people have the expectation that when you represent them, you must come back to them every week. It's just impossible when you get into government. Excuse me, but people have that expectation. So it's hard. It's hard, absolutely, being a secretary and making all the time that you would make to attend to all the issues in the constituency, issues related to the office, managing the division. It's hard. Time management is a critical task that we all look at and evaluate and get better at over time. You know, so I assume it to be hard, but the kind of person I am, I try to plan 5-6 moves ahead, and so everything I do is geared towards being better tomorrow. And so I learn, I evaluate myself every day, every evening. I go home, I evaluate myself, and I say, listen, how was this day gone? What could I have done differently? And that's how I plan my lives.
What did you encounter on the job, like as an area representative or as a secretary? What did you encounter that you did not expect or you did not think that you would have to deal with?
I think there is a what I saw in the division is a division that has not been working generally. I think there has been the extent to which the division was underperforming is not what I expected. I worked at the division before, and it seems as though division-wide a lot of issues have been left unattended. And the widespreadness of that, I think, was a shock. I mean, in every area, there are issues to correct, management structures to put in, you know, evaluation structures to put in. And so, in some aspects, it looks as though we're starting from zero in this whole business of managing a division. But I think that to me might have been the biggest issue that I saw that I did not expect to see.
And how are you dealing with it?
Well, you know, like I said, I tried to plan ahead. I looked at what we inherited, you know, before actually going to the division. I had a little time at home to evaluate based on the information I was getting, what direction I wanted to go and how I was going to achieve the goals I was setting for myself. And so along the way, we have taken a decision. I have taken a decision that, listen, we have to give the staff more opportunities to perform. And so we will do more work in-house. I said that on my first interview with the public. Listen, we need to bring Tobago back into a productive space, and starting the division, we need to find ways to get the staff to believe in themselves, to participate in this whole development thrust, to begin again to cut this dependency that we seem to have, and everybody, wanting to go home as early as possible and be paid. We want to find a way to motivate those guys, motivate those people generally to want to come to work, to want to contribute, to feel that sense of Tobago-ness, that sense of pride. And I think we are on the way to doing that. When the division sees our guys building Castara, when the division see our guys building places like Gogopat, where over the years we have not been doing that, I think it will inspire others to say, listen, this is our Tobago, and we must all contribute to this thing that we are trying to build out in Tobago. And I think we're on the way to doing that.
What is the difference now compared to when you stepped in? What change did you inspire over the past year? Or were you not able to make a change in the division?
I think the push to have DP and development workers execute a lot of the works, I think that's a big step. I think we are now going to go into a new year, hopefully after this rain has stopped, and hopefully we'll see greater performance. The management structures, the new procurement structure at the division before, we never procured contracts. Contracts was procured from the PCO, so the procurement staff had no idea of how you went about this whole business. That I have changed since I've been there. So we are looking at what we have, and we are gradually going to build out at the division the management structures that would move the division forward. It can't be done in a day, it can't be done in a year. We've met this thing that has been there for 20 years, and so might be slow going, but no doubt we are moving forward.
Now, you just mentioned there was a change that you tried to make in the procurement process, and that has been one of the biggest criticisms of your time there over the past year, that whole idea of procurement, making sure that, there are the checks and balances. There were so many contracts that were given out, contracts that were a little bit different from what we've had in the past, and it attracted so many questions. Are we ensuring that we have the correct accountability, even though we are changing the procurement process in the division?
Absolutely. Procurement of works, procurement of services go through a process. There is a tendering process. We have set out the process. People on the other side.
And is there transparency in that process?
Absolutely. When the minority has access to all the documentation, obviously there is transparency. But people are determined that the persons they want to win contracts should win the contracts. And there's this feeling that the secretaries have a direct hand in selecting contracts, but that is not the case. Secretaries are not part of the procurement process. We have staff that manage that.
And why do you think people think that way?
Because that's how it has been. We have reports of secretaries sitting in the PCO with the director up there and assigning contracts. The information I have from the division seems to bear credence to that these contracts are just assigned to people without process. And maybe that's what those on the other side are accustomed to. But in this administration, no secretary is involved in any procurement process. We don't select contractors. And that talk that is being fueled by misinformation is a talk that Tobago has to assess for itself and go back and see what has happened over the last 20 years. And maybe we would all go back into campaign mode from next month and begin to expose what we have seen in the divisions. And maybe that is what is required. We've been trying to hold our tongue. We've been trying to be circumspect to function in government. And it seems as though what is required is a tit for tat going back while we manage. And maybe we will have to do some of that.
Now, there's always been this contention about the use of Trinidad contractors and making sure, because the whole idea is making sure the money can stay here in Tobago. Now, you said at the beginning, like when we discovered that there were some companies that had some issues or did not have everything in the right order. There were some discrepancies and there was an audit performed. And there's this big question, and it continues to be in the space as to why we did not choose some of these contractors, these Tobago-based contractors, before going to Trinidad.
This is an issue that I had not planned to talk about because for me, it's a lot of old talk.
But it continues to permeate the space.
Because media people are fueling it, right? But let me say this, and maybe I can put an end to it finally. We have a situation where we have contracts to tender and works to be accomplished. Legally, there are ways in which we can tender works. One is selective, one is sole select, one is open tender. Basically, those are the three modalities we can use. It is up to the government in office to decide which mode of tendering, which mode of procurement is best suited for the strategic alignment of the administration and the people of Tobago who voted us to manage these affairs. It is not for the opposition to decide. We can go back and we can look, and I can give you off my head 15 projects that went to Trinidad contractors on the team, off my head. We don't have to look far. Scarborough Sea, the fishing facilities in Castara and Charlottesville, and I can go on and on. All the programs and the school repair programs that went to the now minister. You know, we can go back and forth like that, and we can argue, well, because Paytam did it, don't mean you could do it. You know, because that was wrong, don't mean you could do the same wrong. The reality is that we are making decisions for the best strategic alignment of the administration and for the people of Tobago. There are issues in this space regarding audits and so on, and we have to be careful how we procure goods and services in that environment, where we have been taken to court by some contractors and all of that. There seems to be a situation where, you know, a contractor from Trinidad gets some work. We could have a conversation in Tobago that prevents any contractor from Tobago getting work in Trinidad. And we have to be careful in what we are saying and what we are doing, right? Yes, the ideal that we want to move to is a place where every cent we spend multiplies into Tobago. That's where we want to move to. Can we do that in a month? Absolutely not. Can we do it in a year? Absolutely not. But that is where we want to do. And we are on the path to doing that in the wider context of procurement. At my division, at the division of education, if you look at the ratios, division of education from the data that I have, hopefully I'm correct, less than 2% of the contracts, of the contract itself went to non-Tobago contractors.
Can you say it again?
Less than 2%. You have the division of repairing schools, upwards of 30 contracts. One contractor from Trinidad. What is this talk about?
But I mean, what are the criticisms that the contractors that do go to Trinidad are large contracts and not, so I mean, we have a lot of the smaller contractors getting jobs here in Tobago, but the large multi-million-dollar contracts are going to Trinidad contractors instead. How do you handle that?
Is anybody making an assessment of the capacity of the contractors in Tobago? Is anybody deciding, okay, this contract was awarded to be executed in this time and with this type of modality, and there's an assessment of the contractors in Tobago? As far as I'm aware, in another life, I was president of the Tobago Contractors Association. So most of the contractors are people that I know. I'm not biased against anybody. Nobody is. But how we cannot build this Tobago by ourselves, no matter how we want to do it. One of the reasons we are where we are in our development process is because there's this talk that we must build this Tobago by ourselves. We must keep all our lands for ourselves. We must go to the house and make laws to prevent people from buying lands in Tobago, and foreigners can't do this and foreigners can't do that. We are in this development space today because of that kind of talk, and that does not help us. Yes, the ideal is that we must move to a place where the majority of the expenditure we undertake multiplies in Tobago. But in no jurisdiction across the world that happens in Trinidad. CRCC is building the airport.
And that's the
CRCC
Chinese railway construction.
Built the hospital. CRCC built the fire station in Roxborough. Another Chinese company built the 2 police stations in our jurisdiction, coming from Trinidad. What is this talk about? It's time we settle down and stop that kind of talk, because it does not help, and it will not help.
Now, there's also that concern, and I have to go back to the procurement process, because, again, it's a little bit different. And we have reports that keep coming out that, some contractors, before it's even signed, they already got the note that, hey, you're going to get the contract, make your arrangements to come over. How do you handle, what is the truth behind some of these criticisms?
I dealt with that in the House. Mr. Morris been putting false information in the public space, maybe from a lack of understanding of procurement, from a lack of understanding of basic English, or willfully trying to do that. The letter of award he was reading from clearly says that the letter of award was issued on this date, and the letter of award required the contractor to supply basic information 2 weeks later. And he's reading information being supplied 2 weeks later as though it was being done before the fact. The guy, unfortunately, does not understand procurement, or he's willfully trying to put false information in the space. Remember that putting false information in the space is a P&M thing, We can all go back and close our fridge doors and open it again, and Petrotin will still be closed down. We can all ask forever what happened to Email Gate, and where that, if it was truth or lie. That is a P&M thing, and that's what because that's the only thing they can do in Tobago. That's the only thing they can do in Trinidad. Put false information in the space and hope some emotion will rise up to say, hey, this thing is wrong. There's absolutely no truth to it.
And so for the members of the public who are questioning the procurement process because of all that information that's within the space, whether it be truth or not, how can they find out for themselves whether or not there is transparency in the procurement process?
I don't think it's a question of transparency, but the programs like these will have to clear up a lot of issues. And I think as an administration, we have not done enough in our communication with the people to bring the truth out. And going forward, I'm hoping that will be done. But the media has a responsibility to print and to communicate truth. And therefore, the media must investigate things that are being said and before bring it on the news. Not everybody who goes on Facebook and gets up and says something should make the news, because you propagating lies and lies over lies if you don't do your own independent investigation. I'm not criticizing the media. I'm just saying that this is where we are. We all in this thing must ensure that the truth is coming out. And the members of the administration are available, continue to be available to come to the media to explain that. The media has also to do its own investigation.
All right. Now I want to move on a little bit to the scope of works under your division. And, one of the major things that people point out is that when they elected you guys into office, they elected you with the expectation that their road infrastructure throughout the island would be sorted out. However, that's a lot of work to get done. How do you prioritize which road needs to get fixed? Because we've had every secretary, every area representative on here saying that, yes, they are constantly on the phone with you, they are constantly lobbying with you to get certain areas fixed in their communities.
Candice, if you look around Tobago since we came to office, we've probably done more pothole patching in Tobago than the P&M did in 10 to 20 years. That is the reality. We set out, because of the budgetary constraints we had, to say, let's try and patch as many holes and give the motoring public a little ease on their pocket, their shocks and ends and so on. And we are well on the way to doing that across the island, from Charlottesville down to Crown Point going north. We are doing that. The rains have come, obviously, and wreaked a lot of havoc. We were forced to move out of that and try to keep the major thoroughfares clear. We have guys working night and day to do that. You can't necessarily do road repairs in the rain. But again, as the sun comes back out, hopefully the rains have ended with end of November, and we will begin again to do the work that is required. We have budgetary constraints, and so we have equipment constraints, and so we have to function in a basic economy of scarcity and choice. But that is what we will do.
Is there a formula or some sort of mechanism that you guys use to determine, how many roads or what areas or how many areas get addressed in each electoral district?
To start out, we were attempting to do work in every constituency, in every district. We went around the island with each candidate, with each representative, and we identified the work that needed to be done. Generally, the only area we have not visited is Rockport Delaford, because the member there has not made himself available. And that is after trying to meet with him on three separate occasions. But every other district we have met with, even Mr. Morris. And we now have a list of works that are required in every district. The staff understands all the potholes that are there, and that is how we are able to schedule what we do. Can we do all the work at the same time? Absolutely not. So we have to come up with some way of ensuring that we do work in every district. We can't, some works are more prioritized than others, and we'll attempt to do that. But the public has to bear with us. We are in office a short period of time, and people are excited. They see things being done finally, and they want their things fixed as well. And so, there is that request, and it's excitement. We're happy for that. We're happy to see the people are engaged in what we are doing and wanting their things fixed. But the reality is that these are things to be scheduled, and people, we are asking, be a little patient. We are coming to you.
Now, in the situation with Mr. Morris, in his electoral district, there's a road in Darrow Spring that was under construction before the elections of December 2021, but the construction stopped, and that road has been left. And then, of course, it has deteriorated exponentially since.
A road in Darrow not under construction? Which road is that? In Mr. Morris's district?
Yes, in Mr. Morris's district, and he pointed out, or he posted it on social media. He actually pointed it out several times. He mentioned it several times on various platforms that, that this specific road has been an issue. I mean, there was some construction going on previous to the election, but for whatever reason it stopped, and it has not continued. And especially with the rains, the weather, it has further deteriorated.
I'm sure, Candice, that every representative can speak to that. Just over the road, I'm assuming that road is going down in the spring. I'm assuming that's the hill. Just across the road from that, in my district, there's a whole project that was stopped that I can't even get to. People are calling me, trying to go on Facebook and come to the media and so on. These are things that will happen. The division cannot get to everything. We just don't have the resources to get to every single project.
But why were those projects stopped?
Well, I'm not sure about the spring road that was under construction. Certainly the one in my district, the contractor walked off the job, presumably for reasons that I don't really know, but he has walked off that job. Several jobs like that where contractors, when we won, walked off the job.
And is there no way to hold them to account? Because, I mean, don't they have a contract to complete these works by a certain time, a legally binding contract?
Candice, 90% of the works that were executed in 2020 and 2021 were executed without contract.
So
let me repeat that. Under the Division of Infrastructure, 90% of the road works were executed without contract.
So then how are you holding these people accountable?
Hence, the audit is necessary.
But then, I mean, there
the
also...
audit is necessary, and we must have patience to wait until it is complete. People, to be going on, let's understand what we have inherited, That contract thing is just one of the issues that's holding us back. We have to come to an understanding of what actually happened before we could move forward. We have to do things simultaneously, obviously, and we are doing that. But a gentleman walks off the job. There's no official termination of the contract. You take it over. You have to go through a legal process to take it over. You understand? Otherwise, they become litigious in some way. So these things, there are processes to these things. I have information where 2 or 3 contractors claiming work on the same area. The audit has to be completed, and we must have patience that the audit will be done as expeditiously as it can be done, and we can move forward.
And how do you answer the complaints from certain people in the public space that the audits are taking too long?
Well, as I'm saying, I mean, the auditor has been employed, and I mean, you don't want to give a man a job, give him a timeline, and then hold him to a timeline, and then he tells you, well, he just can't do the job in a timeline, and you get a substandard report in the end. It's not something you can rush. We have to work with the auditors and to ensure that they are being as thorough as they can be, and we are getting the truth coming out in the report, and that's what we have to do.
All right. Well, I mean, hopefully that might answer some of the questions that a lot of people are having within our space as to what's going on with the contractors. But what else can you share with us about some of those issues that you inherited?
Well, I'm not here to throw people under the bus, all right? But the reality is that it appears from the information that I have that several of these contracts were executed improperly, were procured improperly. Several of the works is completed were substandard, and we are grappling with that. The financial constraint and predicament of that is that now we have a liability which we have to treat with, a significant liability, upwards, I think, of $400 million, which we have to grapple with to see how we can treat with this liability. That is what we do. If we decided, for example, that we'll pay off this liability in year 1, then the entire development budget goes to this liability plus some. And so, again, it's a decision of managing scarcity and making choices that is best for the wider Tobago.
All right, on that note, viewers, we'll take a quick break, but when we come back, we are going to get more into the conversations with Mr. Trevor James, the Secretary of Infrastructure, Quarries and Urban Development, as well as the Assemblyman for Scarborough, Mount Grace.
This is it.
Excel Spa by Haley, where our highly trained staff are ready to deliver the top-class services in facial massages, waxing, nail enhancement and body treatment. We are ideally located at Coco Avenue, Switzerland, Tobago. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, TripAdvisor, or you can call us on 730-0149. Exhale Spa by Haley. Relax, renew, and rejuvenate.
This is how it's gonna go. They better look up below, 'cause this is your show, and everybody's gonna know. Say it to them once again. They better look up below. This is your show, and everybody's gonna know. That's how it's gonna go. They better look up below, 'cause this is your show.
Was a while before Christmas, and all through the land, people was putting away house with very little money in hand. They was painting and cleaning and doing their chores, but I went to hunt for deals at American stores. Deals on living and dining room sets, on fridges and stoves, beds and cabinets, on washers and dryers, small appliances cheap, even TVs and stereos, prices just can't be beat. So let's Christmas together at American stores. After all, what they tell me, anything could be yours.
Anything can be yours at American stores.
Welcome to Lamarche Parfait Day Spa and Wellness Center, your premier spa experience located at Bonaccord, Tobago. Visit us today for facials, cellulite treatments, body contours, body treatments, pedicures, manicures, and much more. We have gift cards for all occasions and corporate events. Connect with us on Facebook at Lamarche Parfait Day Spa or call us 273-7772.
MI4 Security Services Company is the most advanced security service in Tobago. Ask about our cash and transit service. It's safe, risk-free, reliable, and timely. We provide safe banking delivery for all business types and sizes with highly trained staff, 24/7 monitoring, coordinated emergency response, and a well-maintained fleet of armored vehicles. Contact us at 660-7723 or visit our website at www.mi4securitytt.com to sign up today.
Excuse me, Mr. Man. Playground rhymes. That's why I'm bringing back the playground rhymes. Yeah. Hey.
Tobago updates. Good morning, Tobago.
Welcome back to Good Morning Tobago. And viewers, yes, we are continuing our beneath the surface conversations with all of the assemblymen and councillors on the THA as we get ready to, look back on this past year. On December 6, 2021, the PDP was able to make their way into the THA, changing 21-year administration that we had. So on the hot seat with us, of course, none other than Mr. Trevor James, and he's the Secretary for Infrastructure, Quarries, and Urban Development. I almost said works there. Commonly known as works within our space, and as well as the Assemblyman for Scarborough Mount Grace. Now, we are still on that topic of roads, because that's a huge, huge topic, because it affects our daily lives, it affects our business, it affects our personal health, everything. So I know that you guys have been having problems with bitumen. Now, one of the things that was pointed out on some of the criticism that your division attracted was that you guys pointed out that, there were some contracts before under the previous administration that had, hot mix and that sort of thing listed at what you termed exorbitant prices. But on some of the contracts that were revealed in the public space, it seems as though the contractors you recently hired have a higher price. What would you say accounts for that?
Again, Candice, we have people on Facebook who do not understand this whole business of construction, this whole business of quantity surveying and how prices are developed. So let me explain it. I'll give you by giving you one example. A cubic yard of concrete is being sold by a concrete producer for $1,000. A contractor is going to be asked in a bill of quantity to provide the cost of supplying and installing this cubic meter of concrete, and he's going to say it's going to cost you $1,600. And so if you read the bill improperly, you are going to say that someone is buying concrete at $1,600 when the price is $1,000. That's one thing. What happened though, it is not that. What happened though is that the Secretary for Infrastructure went to the Executive Council and got the Executive Council to agree to buy bitumen as a standalone product at $1,400. That is what happened when it was being sold at $1,100. That is different from the cost of installing the bitumen, installing the hot mix, the bitumen being a part of that product. That is the difference that people leave out of the conversation. So maybe we don't explain it as clearly as we should, but there's a difference between a component price and a price to supply an item, material, and labor, which is the difference that people are talking about. So I hope that I clear that up using the example of concrete and how concrete is sold and what it is being charged at to install a yard of concrete for as a price. It's two different things.
And what about the challenges in acquiring bitumen within our space? How are we dealing with that to make sure that our roads can get fixed in a timely manner?
Well, you know, the government takes decisions. The government took the decision to close Petrotrin. We no longer, therefore, have the ability to produce our own bitumen here. So we are importing bitumen from Barbados and Suriname and Europe and so on. And there is a shortage of bitumen. When bitumen comes into Trinidad, Tobago again is low down on the totem pole, and because our volumes are not as large, a supplier will supply whoever is buying the most from him. So we have these challenges. I've asked Spell to investigate the possibility of importing the bitumen ourselves, of purchasing more bituteners, so we have more storage capacity. So, you know, we can't fix everything in a short time, but the bitumen challenge is a challenge that existed before we came to office, and it's something that we are grappling with. Even under the previous administration, there seemed to be a move away from asphalt roads to concrete roads.
Yes.
Because of the bitumen problem. So
No,
it's not a new problem, it's a problem, however, that we are trying to resolve.
Is that challenge of acquiring bitumen, does that factor into the contractors you guys hire to fix some of these roads or to repair these roads here in Tobago?
No, no, not necessarily. But what we did, and maybe I'll say this one more time, we, at the Division of Infrastructure, in the period we were there, we've issued 30-something contracts, that of brand new contracts. We've went ahead with 75 contracts under the community-based program that the PNM started, right? We found the money, we've executed those works, and I think some of them are not even been paid for as yet. All of those went to Trinidad, went to Tobago contractors. There's no conversation about that. Of the contracts tendered otherwise, three contracts went to Trinidad contractors. One of them has an office in Tobago, has been operating in Tobago for years. But people say he's a Trinidadian. But he's operated at Corlan, he's done works at Mantalodge. But he's a Trinidad contractor because he's from Trinidad. But he's done works, several jobs under the PNM. There's no talk about that. So we wanted to find a way, as part of this strategy, to bring private sector monies to do public works in Tobago because we have a severe budgetary constraint. And therefore, we went design, build, finance, and those projects were won by Trinidad contractors, and that's just the way it is. I can't jump in and say to the staff, after you've evaluated, hey, put that aside, go back out, start over the process. That is not how the thing works. And so the talk of whether the contract went to Trinidad and who is Tobagonian, if there are Tobago contractors who want to participate in a design, build, finance process that we have, all they need to do is submit their proposals and it will go to the staff. The staff will reevaluate what they have and maybe they will get on a selected list.
Now, recently, we've seen a lot of little holes appearing on the Claude Noel Highway and causing drivers and motorists to swerve away and that sort of thing. Now, I know under the previous administration, they began a highway repair program, and I think they executed one phase of it. And I don't think that they were able to execute the other phases. Is there a plan now to either to continue that which was started or to engage another plan to make sure our highway is up to the highest standard?
Well, I'm one of the people who don't view the Claude Noel as a highway. It's just a main road. We spend a lot of money on the Claude Noel Highway. In the current situation that we are faced with, again, it's a situation of choice. Would we go and spend another $35 million on the Claude Noel and let Bloody Bay become inaccessible? Or let Castara become inaccessible? Or let Lansford that is falling apart as well become inaccessible? How do we make that choice? Do we decide, therefore, that we should patch the holes and attend to make sure we can prevent Kendall from separating itself from Belgarden at Bad Rock? These are the things we have to decide on and to prioritize what we do.
So are you saying that the highway is not a major priority at the moment?
Well, I'm not saying that. I'm saying we'll make an assessment, but certainly the holes that are appearing are holes that need to be patched because it presents a risk to motorists and a risk of accidents. But surely, in my mind, fixing that depression at Bloody Bay might be more prioritous than patching a hole, or redoing a piece of the highway. And I think most of Tobago will agree with that.
Now, when it comes to WASA, WASA is a huge challenge. They are nicknamed workmen against smooth asphalt. You will see them time and time again. After the money is spent to repair a road, to construct a road, WASA goes in and does their thing, and then the road is back into a deplorable state. Is there anything different that your administration is doing to ensure that there's some bit of coordination? Because we've heard about it. We've heard about, that there should be a conversation between WASA and the division before WASA does their work, etc. But none of that has worked in the past. Are we doing anything different this time around?
This problem is a long-standing problem. When we came to office, we met with the secretary who's responsibility for public utilities. Under the Division of Settlements, we met with the WASA senior officer in Tobago and the whole WASA team. We sat and we tried to work out an MOU of how this thing will be done. It's been tried before. There's a whole committee and a whole interface management system between Works and WASA. WASA over the years has not lived up to its side of the bargain. We tried to negotiate, WASA making a contribution to this thing. The government in Trinidad that gives subventions to WASA, not interested in having that arrangement with us. And it's something that I spoke to Mr. Pollard about it again just last week, of finding a way to get WASA, who is under his responsibility, to begin to contribute to this road repair problem that they cause. I mean, they have aging lines and infrastructure generally, and you will have breakage over time and maybe repeated breakage in some areas. In some areas, you have repeated breakage.
Yes.
You fix a piece here and 20 feet away from it, it ruptures again because of increased pressure and all that. But WASA has to be made to contribute to our repair program because for a large part of it, it's their responsibility. And we will have that conversation again. Maybe we'll meet with the minister responsible in due course to see how we could work out the type of contribution and type of nexus we would have in WASA, but it's something that is dearly needed.
Is there any way to hold them accountable? Because, I mean, it's easy to see that a lot of the problems that they cause, a lot of their work has contributed to the need for the THA to spend extra money to get these roads repaired.
Well, we could hold them accountable all we want. I mean, if they don't want to pay us any money, at the end of the day, we are still responsible for repairing the roads. And we will have to find a way to do that. In this case, it is best to have a negotiated position where people sit down, as managers of the public purse and decide that, listen, this is what is required. And I think that's a conversation that we will attempt to have.
Now, I want to move on to the Study Park Quarry. Now, it has been looked at for several decades of that revenue earner, that major revenue earner in Tobago, but we've never really been able to see its full potential. Now, we said, as I mentioned in the news, there was an issue now with being able to export. Now, we have exported to Guyana under the previous administration, but now you're seeing that the Study Park Quarry is not being able to access the necessary permits to export their material. Have there been any conversation between yourself and the government to sort of alleviate or just find a way to work around that issue?
The board is attempting to work on this issue. It is a very, very vexatious issue. It speaks to the whole autonomy struggle that we have been engaged in. This is a situation where a group of public servants on a mineral advisory committee can and have decided that we should not export we should not be given the right to export of our material. This at the same time, when there are at least 2 contractors that we know, 2 firms that we know, who have license to export from Trinidad. And so we find it strange, and now I'm beginning to believe that it's all political in an effort to constrain what we do and to decide for us who we should sell and what we should do. It is something the people of Tobago must rise up against, the people of Trinidad must rise up against as well, because we just can't live in a place where ordinary Trinidadians dictate to the government in Tobago what it should do with its resources. They're already taking our oil and our gas and giving us crumbs for budget, and as well want to take our minerals as well. You know, so it is something we have to work on. I attempted to call the Minister of Energy, Mr. Young. I've called him twice. I've sent him WhatsApp messages, and he's not responded. We would have to write, and maybe we'll have to go to court and have a judicial review of this matter. But it is something that is intolerable, and we can't allow it to continue.
Now, I know that the Prime Minister, Dr. Keith Rowley, stated that, Study Park Quarry should be supplying as much work as possible, much of the contractors as possible in Trinidad to get work done on the highways, etc. Is that happening? Are we seeing our materials going to Trinidad, and are we gaining any money from that?
We have, under the last administration that has been done, we've continued to do that. Since we've been here, we've sold materials to Trinidad contractors, to Nedco, to Junior Sammy, and other players from Study Park. That is not a new thing. But to constrain us to say, only sell to us, is where the problem is. We need foreign exchange. And to constrain us and give us as an excuse without data that is needed for the local market. Local meaning Trinidad, by the way. Is just not tolerable. What are the projects that are on the ground now in Trinidad that need material from Spell? The highway to Point is basically completed. The highway to Toko is on the way. The sub-bases, as far as I'm understanding, is basically done. What road is on the ground now that has started that need aggregate from Spell? And I think there is none. And so this is a political attempt to constrain us. This can't be anything else.
Now, how much revenue did we see from Spell this past year? Do you have any estimates that you could share with us?
I don't have those figures with me, but next time I come back, I will come with all the figures. I've requested all the reports from the board. And I've received some, and I'll go through them and put something together so that I can present it to the public to see where Spell is and where Spell can go, and see how together we can turn this thing around to make sure that what we inherited, large numbers of the mobile fleet down, plants that are producing way below their capacity, plants that can't produce if the material moisture content is too high. We have problems. We had a pricing structure where some persons were buying material from Spell at $7 and $10 a ton. When the market was calling $16, $17, $20. So there are challenges. We've inherited a whole bunch of issues that we have to resolve. Some of them, unfortunately, will take longer than we anticipated. Some of them we can solve in a few months.
All right. Now, we know climate change is a major issue that we're facing right now. And we've seen this past couple of months, I should say, what the weather has been doing to us. And it has been pretty bad. I mean, you guys have been swamped, I should say, with all the road failures that we've experienced, the landslides, the coastal erosion. Now, I mean, how are we addressing that? How are we making sure that we can bring efficient relief, whether in the short term and in the long term, with the provisions for what's happening climate-wise?
Well, again, I say, Candace, and the people of Tobago, this 4.03, this 4.3% that we have accepted, that we have on record of various times when the CS would say that the budget is adequate and so on, that has led to where we are today, We are today because of almost the abandonment of the repair program that was necessary to keep those roads up and active and functioning properly. And we are now seeing 2 months of rain and almost total destruction. How do we treat with that? We took a decision at the department, at the division, to try to keep the roadways open. I think by and large, we have succeeded in doing that. We have some challenges in some areas, but by and large, traffic is not backed up and people are not cut off. That to me is something that is applaudable, given the limited resources that we have. Going forward, we have estimated from the effects of this trauma, we have estimated to bring the road back up to drivable, comfortable driving space, a budget of $240 million. That's just for roads. And so we have a problem. We have a problem with this budgetary limitation from Trinidad, and we are not getting our equal share, and the people of Tobago have to come to the point where we decide whether the way this sovereign democratic state is being administered is best for us, and we have to take steps to change it. We need our equal share of the resources of Trinidad and Tobago, and we have to demand it and demand it more vehemently.
Right. Now, I mean, I want to just touch on a little bit of some of your wins, and I would say one of that is that road to King Peter's Bay, sorry, the removal of the steps and those residents there being able to have a road. What did it take to get that done?
Again, we came to office. There was a proposal from the company that did that adjacent work, that soil retention structure, not a Trinidad company, by the way. The proposal there, the representative and I went up to the King Peter Bay area to look at what the real solution that was required, and we decided after we retendered the project to go with this. And this is an iconic project in Tobago, and it was an attempt to show Tobagonians what could be done. You know, you've seen some of the videos and stuff coming off that project. It's an iconic project, and hopefully, rain permitting, it will be completed before Christmas. That's the deadline. And there is a variation that we want to make a loop around to the left of that hill to connect and make a circle. And I think the contractors requested a variation. We're trying to price it out, and if you can agree on terms on that will be awarded as well to complete that project. But the initial project will be completed before Christmas. What we have tried to do at the division is to spread our staff and projects we do from Charlottesville to Crown Point to Palatuvere. We've done the jetty at Little Tobago in Speyside. We're doing Kings Bay, King Peter's Bay. We've tried to solve that water problem at Cocoa Reef. And so we've attacked Castara. After that failure, there's another failure waiting to happen further down the hill from that. That's waiting to happen, you know. And so what we've done is try to give every community to solve the problems that we think were long-standing problems in every community, and to see how we can deliver on the promises that we have made. And I think generally we are on course.
Mr. James, how would you rate your performance for the past year?
Well, I always perform at a 10, Candice.
You always perform at a 10. And what validates that 10?
Just look around, Candice. I mean, no boast or anything. I mean, what we have done, we've built a road in town in 19 days. 19 days. You know, in support of the whole carnival. We've done things in Tobago that people in Tobago never thought even possible. A road that has 2 bridges, you know, in 19 days. And so more of that is to come. We have been in this dance of doing a waltz and moving slowly and gliding along as nothing has happened. We need to put a few quick steps inside there and see how we can move the thing faster. And that's what we set out to do.
Now, we're running quickly running out of time. We have a lot to touch on this morning. Like I said, you're the man in high demand. But let's get into your community, your district for a little bit. The Scarborough Mount Grace district. You know, what's it been like? I mean, how have you been able to maintain your connection with the residents in your area?
You know, having been, you know, given the responsibility of a secretary, it is hard. The time management is hard. But what I have done is I've looked at the time that I have. When we campaigned, we campaigned essentially for 6 weeks, 6 days a week, 4 hours, 4 hours a day, and essentially at 3 hours, that's 140 hours during the campaign that we've spent in the district, staff and I. And so I wanted to ensure that for the period that I am in office, that at least I spend that same time. And we had essentially 48 months. We took a decision that we will walk the district 1 day a month, 1 Sunday a month, every month from 2 to 6. That's 4 hours. And that will equate to the exact time that we spent campaigning in the district. And we should be able to touch every area twice if we do that. And we just ask the people, you know, be patient with us. That's in addition, of course, to public days and meetings in the district and so on. So I think there's this talk around that we're not on the ground and so on. But when you have a portfolio, you know, you can't do more than that plan that I have outlined. And I think if people are fair, they would see that we are in fact on the ground. We are accessible. Offices are open. You have to come. You can call. People call me all the time. I'm one of the people who answer my phone. So I think there I have the district basically covered. There's some works that I've started in my district, as in every other district, and so we're trying to meet the needs district by district, and hopefully at the end of the 4 years, people would see that we've kept our promises. Not Trevor James, but all the people that people voted for to make this change. The public will see that we are in fact doing what we promised to do, and we are dedicated to the task of rebuilding Tobago 100%.
I also want to touch on the situation with Mr. Watson Duke. Now, earlier in our conversation, you pointed to a situation where for 3 months you've been trying to reach out to him to get him to go around in his district and to figure out, you know, what are some of the concerns and get an idea of the scope of works that need to be done and to put a plan in place to have it completed. Now, how do you feel about that whole situation? That you know, Mr. Duke is no longer as a part of the team. You know, he has chosen to go off his own path.
Well, at the end of the day, Candice, we are all individuals. Mr. Duke has the right to decide his own path and his own future and to make decisions that are in his best interest, and I can't take it away from him. I'm disappointed, however, that after the struggle that we endured, after the humiliation, after the indignities that we endured for years, after building this thing called the PDP, you know, Mr. Duke goes around to say the party is his and he built this thing. The reality is, of course, that Mr. Duke has been propped up for years by the team. And so that talk of being his party, you know, he can talk that talk. The reality is that as a team, the chief secretary assigned Mr. Duke what I believe to be the biggest responsibility in all of Tobago. The responsibility to bring home autonomy, the responsibility to bring foreign exchange, foreign currency, direct foreign investment in Tobago because of the budgetary constraints that we face. And he's decided to walk away from that to pursue being in the opposition. How could the people of Roxborough Delaford support that? This is not a conversation about the chief second and Watson Duke in any personal thing. As a team, we have responsibilities. Mr. Farley Augustine is the leader, and that is that. Nothing that we can do can change that. But to walk away from being in government, to contribute to building this Tobago thing that we sat down and talk about for years and struggle against the PNM for years, to walk away from it, to become friends with Kelvon. I mean, it's unforgivable. And it's upsetting to me and vexatious. And the people of Roxborough Delaford, I believe, will judge him very harshly for it.
When was the last time you had a conversation with Mr. Duke?
I spoke to him in the house. I went and shook his hand and asked him how he was doing and tell him not to call my name in his craziness. You know, I mean, there's nothing personal, you know. I'm a big man enough. People have their own opinions and their own way of doing things, and everybody entitled to that. And he has chosen his path, and, you know, I mean, he goes his route, and I go my route. But I'll meet him and talk. He and I are cousins. I'll meet him and talk to him. If we have to have a conversation, we'll have a conversation.
But in the space of, in this respect, what would be one message that you want to leave with him as to, you know, just the realities of the situation? And to...
Yeah, I have no message to give him, man. Mr. Duke is a big man. Nobody could advise him and guide him, and he is what he is. I have no advice, so no message. I just appeal to the people of Roxborough Delaford to assess his actions for what they are. And at the end of the day, the people will judge.
All right. Now, I mean, we're getting ready to wrap up our conversation because we are unfortunately out of time, Mr. James, and I did not even touch on everything that, you know, we wanted to touch on. And I know that there's a lot of viewers are going to be out there be like, oh, you didn't ask this and you didn't ask that. Well, unfortunately, time is not our best friend. But what is one message that you want to leave with your district, your people? Do you want to leave with Tobagonians as a whole as to what we can expect for 2023, as well as, you know, just a synopsis of your service here over the past year?
To say to the people of Tobago that the government you voted for is dedicated to the task of building Tobago, to make it fair and even for everybody in Tobago, and to be patient with us. We have attempted and succeeded to remove an institution from government in Tobago. We are a young government. Be patient with us. We will make mistakes like every other government will. It's not perfect. We won't get it right in every circumstance. We will, however, assess ourselves and learn from our mistakes and take advice from the public when that advice is acceptable. So bear with us. We are here with you for the long haul. Our goal is to bring the autonomy to the people of Tobago, and there will be various strategies that we will employ to do that, and we are asking Tobago to support us. We have a major challenge with the budget, and therefore we'll become ingenious in trying to bring additional funds into this space. We ask the people of Tobago to be patient, to be supportive, and to be prayerful, because we are at war, and we are warring with principalities and powers.
All right, great. And on that note, that's how we're going to have to wrap our conversation this morning, Mr. James. Well, viewers, yes, we continue to go beneath the surface with all of the area representatives and all of the councillors. So on the lineup for tomorrow is Councillor Tashia Barris, and she is the Secretary of Tourism, Culture, Antiquities, and Transportation. And of course, that's going to be a very interesting conversation because tourism is a major part of our economy here in Tobago. And there's a lot of questions to answer as to where we are taking that industry and how are we forging ahead. So we're going to want to look out for that. I'll be with you tomorrow morning as we get into it with Tashia. And then on Monday, we're going to hear from Ms. Sidika Williams. Oh, yes, she is a councillor and she's out of the Chief Secretary's office. And this will be her first time being on with us. She's been instrumental in trying to reform a lot of the public service here in Tobago and to sort of align it with the PDP's mandate. So it's going to be an interesting conversation. And then after her, because you're going to get a double whammy on Monday, we're going to have Dr. Faith B. Israel. She is, of course, the Assemblyman for Belgarden, Glamorgan, as well as the Secretary of Health, Wellness and Social Protection, and the Deputy Chief Secretary. Because, of course, you know that position was once held by Mr. Duke, but after the fallout between him and Mr. Fali Augustine, now we have Dr. Faith B. Israel as our Deputy Chief Secretary. So we're going to get into that conversation. And then on Tuesday, December 6th, on that one-year anniversary, Chief Secretary Fali August is going to be here with us for a 2-hour conversation. Yes, we're going to give him the 2 hours. You know, Mr. Augustin always has quite a lot to say. So, and he has quite a lot to answer. So, I mean, if you want to hear from him, and of course, if you have your questions, don't be afraid to send us a message on our social media accounts, either Facebook, Instagram, etc. You know, just get on that, send us a message as to some of the things that you might want to have answered from our government officials, because of course it's going to be, I mean, it's been a year. A lot has been done. There's a lot has been said about this administration that's been in power. So yeah, we are going to get into it. So viewers, I just want to thank you for being with us. It was such a pleasure this morning. Of course, we had Mr. James, and if you missed it, don't be afraid to go back, you know, check YouTube, check the Facebook links, and, you know, just see what you missed. All right, viewers, so have a wonderful, safe, and productive day. Please don't litter, and we'll see you again tomorrow at 7 a.m.
Yeah. Hey. Tobago update.